Mm.
And we are here with, I believe it's the 5th episode of When the Blitz Hits the Fan. I've only been on 4 of them. I missed an episode. I'm Izac. I'm one of the co-hosts. We got Med, the other co-host of Blitz Hits the Fan. Med, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Fairly well rested. Got up at 5 this morning to go to work. Got home, took a nap, and here I am.
I slept in until like 8:39. There was a huge thunderstorm here last night. We also got Steve. How you doing, dude?
Hey, man. How you doing? Great to be on your show this time. Glad to
Why
be here.
don't you plug your show really quick? Let's do it right now, and then Med will explain how to stream it to your locations, too.
Okay, sure. Yeah. People can check out my shows on Sports Talk Network YouTube channel, Talking Packers with Steve, The Ramble. Both shows are there. Social media, you can find actually all of them under Army_Strong_06. Look in the bio. You'll find the link and all the other Twitter accounts. I have enough social media, so I don't need to list them all, but you can find them in the bio there. But like I said, I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to talking about the Super Bowl and all other things as well, football related.
Nice. And I think you hit more on the bottom, and then you can add your locations, so it'll take you a second. Matt, am I right on that? It's been a minute since I've done that.
Yeah. So, Steve, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see like where it says edit above the comments and private chat. Click that button, and you'll be able to actually put it in any destination that you want it to go to.
Okay.
Did it work?
I gotta try to figure it out because I'm doing it on my phone.
Ooh. Yeah, that's the thing. Is
and whoever's watching, thanks for joining us. We also got my dad. He was on an episode of Fun Football Pod, and he's going to be doing the huge mock draft with us. Dad, how you doing?
I'm doing
Tom,
good.
as it is.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not going to show him on here too, but I also got the memorials for my aunt, which was pretty cool. So, Matt, after the show, we were running a little late on the intro. I'll show them to you. I sent my dad some pictures. It was pretty cool.
That's
so
awesome.
I got a steak that goes in. It's got a cool quote on it. And I got a little bracelets. It doesn't quite fit, but it's pretty cool. So we got 10 people listening, and Steve, I'm sure will be back in a second. I'll look out for him. But thanks to everybody for joining this surprise episode. All right. I think we should start, if Med's cool with it.
Go for
Let's do something a little different. We're going to get into Super Bowl preview. I haven't had my dad on yet, and we've talked it on this week. But Dad and Med, we've talked it a little bit. We're going to do it for a second. What were your thoughts on those games last weekend? Let's start with the Lions game.
I'll let Tom go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Med. I'll follow
Steve is having some video issues. I think he's in. There he is.
There he is.
Steve, I asked, Tom's going to answer it. I asked what we're going to talk about last week's games really quick. I know we've done it on the other shows, but I wanted to get his thoughts on it. So, Dad, what do you think of that Lions 49ers game?
Lions 49ers, I felt the Lions should have took that game out. I was not impressed with Campbell's decisions in the, later in the second half. When you have a bigger lead like that, I felt like he should have kept taking points and put his team in a better position to keep the lead throughout the second half. Because San Francisco is coming back. Clearly, they were on their way back. So I felt like the Lions should have won, but I do give San Francisco credit for sticking to it. And I know what I read on Shanahan, they were not happy with their defense, obviously, at halftime, and they came out and played a much better defense in the second half. So San Fran made the adjustments. They got the win. They should get the credit. I'm a little disappointed that Detroit didn't win that game.
I agree. Nice breakdown. I like it. Mm-hmm. We had a debate on our show, Dad. It was later in the show. I know you came in for bits. I don't know if you caught it. We had another guy on. I love his take, but I want to hear your thoughts on this, and then we're going to go to Steve and Med. But he was saying how, and we had an argument, and I'm not sure where you stood on this one. The whole Campbell took the field goal at the end of the first half. Joe thought he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And then the field goals later on, and I was like, I thought he should have kicked at least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll discuss it when it comes my turn.
Yeah. Dad, what'd you think on, you kind of already said it. Did you think Campbell should have taken points every time? Do you think he made a mistake going for that field goal at the end of the first half? Because I liked that call, getting up 17. I think it was just it sucks for the Lions because this was such a crazy momentum thing. For that pass to not be picked or even just batted away and for Ayuk to catch it was such a fluky, lucky play. It was almost like it wasn't on the level of the Giants Super Bowl, catch on the helmet by Tyree, but it was such a momentum swing. And then Gibbs to fumble, like you can't put any of that on Campbell. They did the right thing both times, and it was unlucky. And it just was like it was a 14-point swing, just so quick.
I'm going to answer that a little differently. He's the most aggressive coach in the NFL, obviously. It's his style. The players love it. They respond to him.
Mm-hmm.
They respond to that. So you're going to live with that, and then you're going to die with that sometimes. And I think it costed them the chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I do too.
Is what I
I
feel.
agree. I also think going to Reynolds on those fourth downs was a little risky, and Goff missed one of them, but that kind of burned him. And then we got into it. That last play, when they're driving down, the game was already in doubt probably. And thanks for everybody for listening. But when they're driving and they're down 10, the game's already probably over because he lost the 2 field goals. And then they scored. But my problem was they ran it on third down and then called the timeout. We talked about this on Blitz earlier in the week, but I want to get your take really quick. When they called that timeout after the run, that really, really burned the Lions because then they had to get the onside kick with having only 2 timeouts. They should have just done a no huddle field goal or no huddle go for it to give themselves the 3 timeouts. Because if they scored, which they did, they had to have that third timeout or the game was over. So I hated that one too. But
unless they got the onside kick, which is next to impossible.
Yeah, this year it's like 2 of 52, I think was the stat, which is stupid. So, Med, I'm gonna have you take the floor on the next topic.
Okay.
Let's go to Steve and then let's go to Med.
He wants to know what your thoughts were on the Detroit Lions San Francisco game.
Yeah, in regards to the Lions, I think the mistake was in regards to those field goals or opportunities to kick those field goals. If he was able, or Dan Campbell was understanding of the situation in the moment, in a way, and at least going for points for one of them, if not both, have a bigger chance to win. But then again, revisionist history, right? Because if he makes them both, if the fourth down conversion is successful both times, even one of them, they get a touchdown, that's his own swing, just as much as the misses were a swing. So, it's unfortunate, but that's just how Dan Campbell is, right? He's already spoken about. Dan Campbell is that aggressive coach, and the Lions fans and Lions players love that about him. So, the unfortunate part of that for the NFC Championship game was that it bit him in the butt, and it bit them, let alone them biting kneecaps themselves. So, it was unfortunate of how it went for the Lions. I know even me as a Packer fan, or us as Packer fans, in regards to cheering for Detroit and wanting them to beat the Niners, it's sometimes it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the NFC title game, let alone just a regular season game. But they'll be fine. They'll be ready for next season. But as regards to this game, mismanaging the clock at the end with the timeouts and not using them correctly, and the fourth down conversions and the strategy for said fourth down conversions, like the play calling, were not great to me either. But those two being the keys to the game for me, it's unfortunate, but it would be, and I guess in the end, congratulations to San Francisco. Now we're going to be in the Super Bowl.
And they responded. I mean, it wasn't just momentum; it was. But yeah, I agree, man. And I like both y'all's takes. That was good. You guys want to talk that really quick? You guys want to talk that? Well, Med.
Well,
Med, what did you think of the field goals? I'm curious.
Well, with the field goals and everything, the one thing I said before is whenever you attribute this game as far as Lions versus 49ers go, you look at the experience of what the Lions had. They've never been on this stage before. In fact,
True.
last time they ever were on it in an NFL championship game was way back in 1991 when Barry Sanders was there. So
My dad probably remembers that one.
I remember
that. Dallas destroyed them. But the thing is that whenever you have that inexperience, it's not just the players that have that, it is the coaches too. They do not know how to really respond to certain calls and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that if I was in Dan Campbell's shoes, I'd probably have the same thing. But you can't regret what you do. And the biggest question is the fact that they were at a 4th and 5, that close to the end zone, 10 seconds left. You know, a lot of people will tell you, just go ahead and step on the jugular. Go ahead and just put it out of reach right then and there. I do agree with you. Go ahead and take points. You want to put points up, not just leave them on the field. And in a lot of cases, I think that's what happened. IU, really and truthfully, momentum started shifting on the first drive with San Francisco when Juwan Jennings did that really freaky one-handed catch for only a 5-yard gain, but it was a first down.
Yeah.
And then you really feel the momentum starting to shift then. And then later on, it was the Ayuk catch, the fumble, and it just slowly built up over time to where it just completely shifted. And like Tom pointed out earlier, the defensive adjustments that they had really corrected a lot of the issues I mean, who expected the Detroit come out and punch them in the mouth like they did? I mean,
oh man,
it was like the first drive.
We were texting. My dad I called him, I think at halftime. It's been a long 2 weeks, but I think we talked, and I was like, how did your tweets, you're like the mighty Lions. And no one expected them to come out that way and run it right at the 49ers, because that was a lot of what they did. That was impressive.
And you look at the way that the Detroit offense is built, it's built for the pass. I mean, and as far as that is concerned, that played perfectly with what the defense for San Francisco is actually a little bit exploited with. Their defense on their pass is not as good. I think it was ranked 14th at the end of the season. So a lot of people would have figured that the Lions would have attacked them through the air and not on the ground.
Yeah, their pass D is what I'm worried about in this Super Bowl. We're going to get into it. But I just want to say thanks to Kelsey and Chris for joining. Janae, Shots. That's her take on it. Do what you're supposed to and take the points. So anybody have I think the NFC, not just the North, but the NFC in next year between Green Bay and Detroit is going to be a heck of a fight, because they're going to I don't think the Lions are going to go away. I really don't. I think that Campbell's got this team. I think he's got them. He knows how to motivate players. You know, he might make some mistakes. He gets too aggressive, in my opinion, but they wouldn't have gotten there either. So that's why, like, I on Twitter, I said under fire, but I didn't mean like you fire the dude. He just deserves to be criticized, but he also deserves credit for getting them there, because the Lions never would have made the conference championship if Dan Campbell wasn't the coach. I don't think another coach, I can't think of many that could have stepped in and did what he did this year. So
true.
So,
as far as the NFC North goes, I will say this: I think it's going to be more than just a 2-team fight up there. It's going.
I do think the Bears have potential to make this interesting.
I think that the Bears do have potential to make this interesting. It depends on how we play the cards as far as that goes. I mean, really and truthfully, the only odd team out right now seems to be the Vikings, and that's because of the Cousins situation that they got themselves into.
Well, they're thin at certain positions too. The defense played better, but they need a running back. They've got weapons in the pass game. If they had the right quarterback, they could be a really tough team. You've got Addison, who was a baller this year. You got Hawkinson, and you got Jefferson, and their third and fourth receivers aren't bad either. But their offensive line is terrible.
Yeah. But there is one funny thing that I actually saw on Twitter, and y'all could actually put y'all's own little point on this. I saw someone actually mention, seeing they got Addison, you can go ahead and let go of Jefferson. I was like, I'm not letting go.
No. It was the whole argument in Cincinnati, let go Chase to keep Higgins because you could get a haul. Me and Rick had this argument. And I was like, dude, you don't trade a Jamar Chase. I know the Chiefs have figured this out post Tyreek Hill, but they've also had a lot of problems, and luckily, they've got a great DC head coach, and they got Mahomes. But look at Tennessee trading A.J. Brown. It hasn't worked out. Like, you can't lose those stud receivers.
Yeah, no, and Jamar Chase, he's a game breaker. I mean, T. Higgins, all due respect to him, he can really ball as well. But in my opinion, if you were to keep one or two, I'd always go. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I would be going Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Steve, what's your ideas on what the NFC North is going to be like? And Tom, we'll swing it over to you too.
Yeah, in regards to the NFC North, kind of like you were saying, in regards to a 4-team race, I think even the Vikings, depending on the decision with the quarterback and who they bring in, if they are going to, get rid of Cousins or trade him or whatever is going to go on there with Minnesota, the Bears and their draft pick, and where that can go. For Chicago, Detroit just resetting up in a way, and Green Bay with Jordan Love and the future being bright here in Green Bay. It's good to see how Jordan has done throughout this season, but I think I know I've seen also on Twitter about people saying the Lions are going to regress because of how it ended this season. I mean, I get it, I get it only in the sense of that it just happened. The NFC Championship just happened. You're mad whether you're a Lions fan or not, and you're worried that so much is going to change. And I understand also it's hard to get back there for any team, any of the 32. But I do think the Lions are going to be fine. I think the biggest question, I do still say, is going to be Chicago and Minnesota. But if those two teams and their new management can get things done correctly, then maybe they'll be in the conversation, and this will be the mighty NFC North. And all four of us will be, or all four of our teams will be battling for that division.
Right? Like the Packers have got Love, who looks like a stud. There's big quarterback questions. What are the Lions going to do with Goff? Are they going to extend him? What are the Vikings going to do with Cousins? And what are the Bears going to do with Fields?
And, me and you've talked about this before. I'm 50-50 on Fields. I mean, it's to the point where you actually look at it now. At the same time, a lot of people didn't realize is that we lost our defensive coordinator midway through the season, and defense actually started turning around near the end of the season. I mean, we had probably our best game we played against y'all, even though we lost. It really, as far as the Chicago fan is concerned, it's a little bit brighter than what it usually is when we play.
So true. True. And if you guys flip this one pick and get in it, because it looks like it's up for sale, and you get more than last year.
Yeah, because of who is at the start, but also at the same time, we just got a new offensive coordinator, Shane. I'm trying to think of his name, but he was from Seattle, and his play style fits Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, depending on what we actually do with the pick. I mean, we're very fortunate in that.
The number one pick?
Yeah.
They got number 1 and 9. Shane Waldron, new offensive coordinator for the Bears. I'll have to look him up, like you said, from Seattle.
You saw what he did with Dino, who was horrible in New York. So go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
I think you have to put Chicago in the discussion too. I think Minnesota's the kind of the odd team out right now. This is my opinion, but Green Bay should be able to stay competitive. Detroit looks like they actually look like the class of the division, didn't they, for most of the year? I don't know how you guys feel about that, but so I feel like Green Bay still has some room to grow with their young roster. They should. And Chicago has a lot of draft capital and feels if they find the right fit with the offensive coordinator, there's a chance that he could hit. So I feel like Chicago could be there too, but I'm not quite sold on Minnesota, even with their receiver talent and some of the talent that they have on the field.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll go last on this one. You guys want to talk that Ravens Chiefs game, and then we'll start breaking the Super Bowl down? Tom can go first on this one. You want to do it?
Sure. Yeah. We can do
all right. Let's talk Chiefs Ravens.
I don't have much to say, to be honest. Other than
I get it.
Lamar Jackson has what is he? Is he like the best running quarterback in the history of the NFL? Do you guys are we there?
Him and Vic, right?
I would say Vic and him. Yeah,
Vic and him.
I would maybe Cam.
I feel like you have to use that superpower, in that game, and I don't think he did. I don't think they planned it in well enough. I think that could have been what could have made this game different for Baltimore. So I was disappointed in that, but I was very impressed with Kansas City's defense at the same time. I just didn't think that Lamar, put that out there. I know that The focus for him in the last few years has been really to improve on his passing, and he's done that. And he does have some better weapons, some weapons on offense, and he got his tight end back. But to me, in that game, I was looking to see Lamar bust that game out or keep them in the game, and that didn't happen. I'm impressed with Mahomes and Kansas City getting past Baltimore in that defense. What did they put up? 17?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I'll talk about Kansas City and the San Fran matchup. But I just expected more from Lamar, and not so much in the passing game. Just use the legs when you have to go to that. When it's push come to shove and it's the end of the season, right? It's the most important game of the season. Use that superpower. That's kind of my take on it.
The defense, I wouldn't even put it. Baltimore's D got smashed early. I'll do my full thoughts in a second, but I was surprised, Dad, with the fact that Baltimore's defense shut down KC in the second half. And thanks to all the people watching, we got 10 right now.
I mean, we saw
like
KC use Kelsey, right?
Yeah,
that's their superstar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm belaboring the point. So I'll just let you guys go.
Good take, Dad. Matt, you want to go or Steve? It's up. I'm going to go last.
Give it to Steve.
In regards to this game, it's just unfortunate in regards to the Ravens having a chance to be able to take down the Chiefs, doing it at home. Then again, that was the same case for the Buffalo Bills the previous week. You have the Chiefs at home. Can you finally beat them? You can't beat them at home. Will you ever beat them in the playoffs? But here with the Baltimore Ravens, this being a whole different game in the AFC Championship game, the way that the game went, I'm looking here right now on my phone in regards to the scoring. It was 7-7 after the first quarter, then 10-0 Chiefs in the second quarter. So in one quarter, the Chiefs getting 10 points to Baltimore 0. Baltimore on defense, Baltimore Ravens on defense sometimes looking lost in times during the game as the game was going, and the Ravens offense not being able to capitalize on situations where they could have and should have been able to take advantage of situations. It was a close game throughout, but Baltimore just wasn't able to push through to be able to take the lead, let alone to run away with it. And the Chiefs, being the scrappy team that they are, and a good team that they are, I'm not going to take that away from them. They've started what can be a dynasty for a reason, but in my opinion, the Ravens were a better team heading into that game and should have won, but that's why they play the game. And as the game went on, and that whole third quarter being, at least scoring-wise, this news fast, but still good play, then you head into the fourth quarter, and Baltimore only being able to get the 3 and not able to come back and be able to get the win there at home. It's just the Baltimore offense stalling out. Lamar Jackson, maybe even the coaching being a problem with Harbaugh, at least in this game, not overall. That to me was the reason of Baltimore not being able to get it done at home as the number 1 seed. I mean, I don't love the Ravens as much as I don't like the Chiefs, but I was thinking, believing and hoping that they would be able to win at home, beat the Chiefs in this environment, in their house, kind of like I thought the same thing for the Bills. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done because of the offense not being able to take advantage of situations, field position, and otherwise to be able to get the win. I don't think it's all on one person, but I do think that collectively, Baltimore Ravens shoulda, woulda, coulda, but in the end, it was still a good game, just not the result that I was hoping for.
Okay, so before I do my take, I'm going to swing it back to
I like the home thing. I like the home point in Baltimore really quick.
Yeah.
I was going to say, good. I like that, Steve.
Yeah, that's good.
Before I do my take, I'm going to swing it right back to both of you, Steve and then Tom. As far as this is concerned with this game, with the Ravens losing the Chiefs, what do you think this does to Lamar Jackson's legacy as of right now?
Oh.
In regards to the legacy, I don't know if it really damages it that much. I mean, it's a game where he wasn't able to, as I said earlier, take advantage of situations and running and passing, and maybe his mind was thinking, "Oh, I got to do this." But you got to go with how the game is progressing and what you need to do there. And what he needed to do there during said game was run more. So I think with that, I don't think it really hurts his legacy as much as some may seem or believe. I just think it just was a poor performance in said game. In regards to legacy, he still has many seasons left, and that will write his story. His story isn't finished yet. So when he finishes his story, when his story is written at the end of his career, then I'll have a different take at that time. But for right now, is it tarnished as of right now because of what happened in these playoffs, what happened in the AFC title game? I think it might be bruised, but I don't think it's any
Definitely bruised.
tarnishing of it due to said performance in the AFC Championship game.
Good take.
I'm going to go along with that. I'm going to say yes, bruised. Bruised is a good way to.
That's a very good way of putting it.
To put it. He's still young. He's got a lot to go. But you're number one seed. You're at home, right? And what do they call him? The mini goat, Mahomes. Is he the mini goat now?
Yeah, he's getting there.
Right?
We had this argument. Who's better than him other than Brady
And
all
beats
time at this point?
You're definitely bruised after that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a lot of time left, and so I would agree with Steve, and that I think that there's still a lot more football left for Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm a little worried though. He's starting to become a Dak. Like he's not really excelling in the playoffs. He did against Houston, but he shrunk in this game. His turnovers made a big difference. I'm just gonna quick take.
his quarterback rating,
His playoff
42.
record similar to Dak too. He's 4 years younger, but this was a golden opportunity, and he laid an egg here. For me, at least.
Yeah.
So, Med, you're up, man.
All right. So we discussed this a few last show too, and basically the way that I feel with it is you always stick with what got you there. And the Ravens did not do that. They were the number one rushing offense in the NFL this whole season, and then they go out and they just run it 16 times, 8 times with the quarterback, 2 times with the receiver, 6 times with their running backs. And shout out to Pete because I didn't even think about the 2 runs by Zay Flowers. Also at the same time, kind of a little bit opposite of what happened with Baltimore with the Detroit Lions. Their coaching staff has experience at this level. Their players do not. When Zay Flowers goes and pushes the guy down, spins the ball, and basically taunts the guy right there, you just cost your team 15 yards. That could have been a touchdown. Same thing with the fumble. Then he goes over and punches the bench. You're going to lose that fight every time. And it's just the mental miscues that they really had that kind of just buried themselves because they were still in it. They didn't have to abandon their game plan. Me being a coach, I got in an argument with another guy who, different story, but yeah, he knows about it.
So much fun. I had some arguments this week too. Justin Herbert still made my top 10, but yeah.
Yeah. But as far as like this game goes and everything, I mean, really and truthfully, the players just never been there before. Not at that point. I mean, Van Noy to a point because when he was with the Patriots, I believe he went to a Super Bowl. But it's stuff that you should know better, and kind of touching up on Mahomes right now. The only 2 quarterbacks that have beaten him in the playoffs is Brady and Burrow. And right at this point, it's kind of wondering as they go into the Super Bowl, is there anyone that could do it? And people are kind of looking at how Purdy is going to be looking at this. Is he going to be the guy that could do that? And, before, revealing too much, that's one of the big questions. And when we go into the Super Bowl preview and everything, we will be discussing who has an edge at what position and everything like that. Is Purdy better than Mahomes? No, but we'll discuss that. And as far as this game's concerned, I mean, yeah, definitely bruised Lamar Jackson's ego. In fact, in a lot of comments and stuff in some of the circles that I'm in, one of the things that they're calling him is playoff Dak right now. And that's just one of those deals. You nailed it when you said that. You compare him to the guy that is extremely comparable, good arm, can run Dak doesn't run like he used to, but
no,
he's a
he really doesn't.
He's a game changer. There was a key play. And my wife heard me say, oh, my God, what is he doing when it was 3rd and 1 and there was no pressure? Like he had no pressure. He could have simply just ran up, got the 1 yard. Instead, he got tackled back, and they lucked out and converted a 4th down pass to Odell Beckham Jr. And it's things like that where it feels like, there's going to be a time where you want to take the ball and you want to show him what you could do with it. And it really felt like he kind of regressed a little bit in that light in the biggest stage that you are at this point. And at this point, is it going to get you to the Super Bowl? Is that what he's going to do for you?
No, I don't think so. If he couldn't do it this year, they're going to have to get him a dynamite running back or another dynamite receiver to get there. And Dak, to me, Pete was like, who are these quarterbacks that grow on trees? I'm not looking for guys that grow on trees. I'm looking for guys that don't shrink in the playoffs. And Dak stat padded against Green Bay so heavily, and he does this. Him and that defense have done this all year against lesser competition. And then when it mattered in the first half, he had 100 yards, 2 picks, and almost a third one, and didn't throw a TD until there was 2 seconds left in the half after having a pick 6. They just needed an okay Lamar game here and a slightly better game plan. They would have beaten this Chiefs team that isn't, other than the defense and Mahomes, isn't that dominant. But I'm worried about the 49ers because they're very evenly matched, and if they're evenly matched, Mahomes is gonna be the trump card. And coaching matters. And Shanahan, as good as he is, we can talk if we want to. I'm gonna let everybody decide if we want to do Super Bowl preview first, or I've got some other stuff too. We could do my athlete thing or Super Bowl memories, but coaching matters and experience matters. It comes up in the NBA. Dad knows this. When Jordan was coming up, he had to get his licks and he had to take his wounds against the Pistons to get to that level. And it does matter in the NFL. That's why I'm like, the Packers aren't suddenly going to be a Super Bowl team next year, probably. They did this with Rodgers if they land some picks in the draft, but they're going to have to, they got some playoff experience this year, which mattered. They're going to take another step. Usually that next step is one more round. And then you get over that hump. The Cowboys experienced in the early 90s too. There's so many examples of it. LeBron had to go through it. There's so many good ones. The Lakers, I mean, seriously, the Pistons went through this with the Celtics in the 80s. Then they were the team to beat, and the Bulls were able to finally beat them once they aged out. But they lost to them 3 or 4 years in a row. So experience really made a difference in both games. I think you had Gardner Johnson given the L at halftime, and I think he helped wake up the beast for San Fran because that team, that offense is a beast. And the Ravens, you could just tell they did not have the experience that they needed. And I'm a little disappointed with Harbaugh because he has won a Super Bowl and he didn't step in and make any adjustments on offense. Got to do it.
Good.
So I'm disappointed that was just a coaching victory lap by the Chiefs. Like even when the Ravens were able to slow down their offense, Spagnuolo had this figured out. And he knew that he had Lamar the whole game.
Yeah. And basically, just to say,
comment.
Just to say, like with your NBA analogy and everything, basically what the Chiefs did was what the Celtics did when LeBron was with the Cavs, and they'd let him eat, but then smothered everyone else. So, I mean, if you look at the stats, Lamar actually had a pretty good game, other than those 2 turnovers. But other than that,
but that mattered in this game. It really did. Dad, you were going to say something. What you got?
Oh, nothing. Forget it.
No, you're good. I brought Jordan up. I thought you'd like that. I was going to throw up AC/DC thing for you. I was jamming to get ready for this. I was going to see if you could figure out what song I was listening to from the Back in Black album, and it wasn't Back in Black.
That'd be what's your remember the song we used to listen to all the time?
Yeah, I know. I bet you know what it is. You just got to think it. It's a good one. It was a single. It wasn't the most famous one off that album.
They're cheap, right?
Bringing a music thing in, throwing curveballs. It was Shoot to Thrill. That's one of my favorites. So, okay. Do you guys want to get in the Super Bowl now, or are you cool if you want me to throw you a curveball first? I'll let you all pick.
Whatever you want.
Med, you got anything?
I'm good right now. Whatever y'all. I mean, if you want to do Super Bowl memories and
let's do Super Bowl memories. We'll do the athlete thing last.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, guys. It can be. Let's do 2. I want you to pick, and we'll go around. Okay. So I don't care. I need to start. I'm just gonna Thunderstruck. Nice. Janae with the AC/DC. I like it. All right. So love that take, Janae. And I like what she said earlier too. I didn't get to say it. Sorry. I've been throwing them up on the screen. Okay. Favorite Super Bowl memory. Like the most thing that stands out in your mind that wasn't your favorite team, and then your favorite Super Bowl memory from your favorite team. So you got two. It's tough. It really is. Me and my dad were talking this on Facebook.
I could do mine real quick if you need me to.
Yeah, Med, what you got?
So my favorite, it's not even my team, but it was probably my favorite moment because of who it happened with. And I've always been a big Eli Manning fan. And
you're gonna steal mine.
Tyree catch is
you're gonna steal mine. That was mine too.
That's the best.
That was just, it was, I just saw the play, how he ripped away from the three guys grabbing his shoulders and just slung the ball, and came out like a duck, and just the whole thing. It was the 17-0 team too. Or whatever they were, not 18-0, whatever they were.
Yeah, that's when the Patriots are going to be 19-0. And they had a chance to go 20-0. And you know that the Miami Dolphins, all the guys were sitting there with bottles of champagne still on ice, because every year, as soon as the last team loses, they'll get together and they'll sip some champagne because they're the last undefeated team from back in 1972.
Yeah, they were able to do it.
Yeah, they were able to do it, and they even toasted the champions. I mean, it was actually kind of cool. But that would be my favorite moment. I mean, just the simple fact that he pinned it up against his helmet. There's quite a few. Probably my most memorable moment would be your boy Brett Favre throwing that touchdown pass to Andre Rison within like 1 minute against.
What, you didn't like that?
Well, I mean, I know I'm in the minority and everything. But,
you see the big bears behind him, Dad?
Yeah, Steve picked up on it pretty quickly. He said, he was like, "Yeah, well, most of us Packer fans." So, but I mean,
yeah.
At the same time, that was a good Super Bowl as well, not just for y'all, because the title, of course, went back to Titletown. I mean, I'll show respect, and that was a Super Bowl a lot of people forget. That was the last one that they had with a quarterback that wasn't named Brady. They had Drew Bledsoe. And Bill Parcells at coach. You had Mike Holmgren. It was a really good Super Bowl in my opinion. And I remember
Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard.
Yeah.
Antonio Freeman, Dorsey Levens, Reggie White with 3 sacks on Bledsoe in the game.
All in the fourth quarter too.
Yeah, just sealed it. It was great. They were game sealing. He was such a special player.
He was just pushing the tackle back into the.
He just was like, "Get on my way." Just power, throw you.
Yeah, I love seeing those highlights of Reggie.
Yeah, those are.
I got it. I really wish Med could do this on his computer, because I want to throw videos up of the stuff, and I can't. I don't know how to do it on my end. He's gonna have to coach me on this one episode.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it on my phone. I don't think it lets me.
Oh. No, yeah. Yeah,
Steve, what's yours?
For me, in regards to the Packers, would be the radio call in regards to Reggie with the 3 sacks. That's 3 sacks for Reggie during the Super Bowl in our victory against the New England Patriots, Super Bowl 31, Brett Favre and all that. Non-Packers, some might dislike it just because it's from the Patriots, but my favorite was when the Patriots completed their improbable comeback against the Atlanta Falcons, and with that running play, sealing the deal. And I was right there with Paz Nation, jumping up and down and happy for the Patriots winning that Super Bowl. For me, I would say that would be my non-Packers Super Bowl moment that I still, the NFL still does have. It doesn't go that far back, but it goes far back enough that it has that one in there in regards to the highlights they have for every game and the Super Bowl. So for NFL games. And sometimes I go back and watch that one. I also go back and watch when Tampa Bay destroyed Kansas City. But I enjoy rewatching.
That was crazy. That really was.
So yeah, I do enjoy watching and rewatching not just Packer moments of winning, but other teams' moments of losing. And that would be the Falcons and the Chiefs in those situations. But yeah, those would be my moments, Packer-wise and non-Packer-wise.
Dad, what's yours? I'm gonna go last.
All right, you guys bear with me here. I got a couple.
Yeah, I'm gonna like Google this because sadly Med took mine. It was that Patriots one, so I'm gonna come up with another non-Packer
I'm
one.
going way back.
Yeah, do it.
So, and this is non-Packer. The freaking Buffalo Bills
The field goal miss.
and their their 4 losses in in the Super Bowls. in a
Oh
row.
yeah.
But check this out. This Super Bowl, the week before in the AFC Championship game, they had killed. I think they won like 51 to something. 50. They had 50 points or whatever. They
Okay.
came to the Super Bowl against. Gosh, I think it was against the Giants, right? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, it was the Giants. If you're talking about the field goal miss one,
And then Parcells was the coach, but guess who was the defensive coordinator?
Belichick.
was Belichick, right?
Belichick was the defensive coordinator. They held them down. The Bills had probably, well, we think the better team. And then Norwood misses the kick, right? Scott Norwood, the kicker, misses the kick to win the game for Buffalo, which would have gave them their Super Bowl. But to me, I just always remember that. I don't know why.
I like it. No, it's good. What's your Packer one?
Is when who was it? It was the Rams in Tennessee, and they were
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
The 1 yard. I hadn't thought of that. Good stuff.
Warner getting his ring with the
Good
Rams.
takes, guys. I like it.
right before he got to the end zone. Right, was the time running out? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
time
time
ran out.
going
They had the nuts play right before that, where Air McNair, the late great Air McNair, was getting tackled by 2 guys, barely kept his knee off the ground,
Yeah,
ripped away from the 2 of them, slung it down the play before to I think the 15-yard line or something like that. I can look it up exactly. And then I think it was the very next play was the pass to Dyson, I think is who it was, and he stretched
Mhm.
out and was a yard short. It was a pretty cool sequence. And that was against Kurt Warner.
that was great. That was great.
That was a good one.
And then Packer wise, it's just again back to the Reggie White dominating in the fourth quarter to close out that Super Bowl back in the day. So I still go back to that Super Bowl with Favre. Yeah, that's amazing. And then runner up. Well, how about I can't remember how long ago this was now, but it wasn't too long ago with Philly.
You talk about the 500-yard Brady one, the crazy one?
When Philly pulled out the trick play at the end of the end
Philly
of the game.
special.
The Philly special. Good picks.
And it was the backup, right? That was
Yeah, it was the Nick Foles game, the stupid one that's kept him in the NFL and gotten him jobs.
I love that play call. That play was amazing.
Yeah, that was early, but that was great. And there's no defense in the game. And there was I think it was a strip sack on Brady, and Brady had 500 yards and a losing effort. His kryptonite was the NFC East. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So that's sorry, I threw a whole bunch of
No, I like it. Do it, man. This is different than fun football, Dad. This is a panel, and that's why we like to get 3 or 4 just to throw fun stuff out there.
Mhm.
And we're hoping this becomes the big one. We like to have other people on. That's why we're gonna do the huge mock draft thing. And Dad, I don't know if I pitched it to you yet. Before I do my take, I'm gonna do a little segment. Trying to get. I think I told you about it, but I can't remember if I did. It was last night. And I'm going to talk to Matt about this if he wants in. So, because I didn't pay as much attention to fantasy last year, and Matt had this really cool idea to do an all-time, like Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, Tom Brady in his prime,
fantasy football draft.
all-time
Where you
fantasy
have
football
all
draft,
thing.
maybe end of July, early August when we're rebooting the next season.
Sounds like fun.
Then a month later, my idea was to do a fantasy football draft for this year, live stream it, and that's our new league.
I like that idea.
That'd be fun. If we get 10, because I can put 10 on here. We do a 10-team league. We decide the rules beforehand, and we're going to live stream the sucker on here.
I don't know. Why can't you do 12? 12 is
Well, I would love to do 12, but StreamYard
Limitations.
caps me at 10.
oh
In regards to people on air, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I like 12 better. So, but 10 people on here. I've already got 4 or 5. So,
if you do
Yeah.
10, Do a dynasty.
That I would love that. I haven't done a dynasty league ever. I'm game.
I mean,
I'd even do IDP if people wanted. I really would.
Ooh, sounds
I
good.
can probably find 2 people to do dynasty.
Cool, man. So that'll be in like Labor Day weekend. This is 7 months from now. We're making plans. Me and Med, we'll talk about it more later. Dad, you got fireworks in your background.
Yeah. He's
How does that
excited.
happen?
Eli, thanks for joining. I'm going to get some comments really quick and then I'm going to do my take. That's my non-Packer favorite. Janae says when the Saints won their Super Bowl, that one was special. Sadly, like my dad, I'm going to give a few. Halftime show, really quick. Favorite halftime show, guys. And then I'll do my full take.
Michael Jackson during the stomping of the Cowboys over the Bills.
Like it.
Agreed.
Steve,
I
halftime?
knew who he was talking about.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to think. Michael Jackson
Mhm.
halftime.
My halftime, Dad, what's your halftime?
It's the one that was the West Coast Snoop Dogg and
Yeah, that was
Nice.
it. 50, all big now, comes down hanging. They had to hold him up. Eminem comes out.
It went to $1.
Oh my gosh, they had Dre. They had Kendrick Lamar. Didn't they have
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. All
If
of it.
Kanye wasn't crazy now, I would have liked
It
the
was
whole
a-
Jay-Z other thing.
It was definitely a fan from the early late 90s hip hop fantasy come true, to be honest.
It was
Yeah, no,
off
I
the
agree.
chain. Rihanna last year was really good by herself, but having that many people and having it work, that was special. I don't know how that's going to be. Those Prince and Michael Jackson, that one really stand out.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, so favorite Super Bowl memories. It's kind of bittersweet because I had some family stuff that my dad knows about, but that Packers Super Bowl with Rodgers was really special. That one was cool. I had some bad family stuff happen right after, so that was kind of a cool memory. And it was a fun win that was unexpected, especially after the whole Bears Jay Cutler on a treadmill thing the week before the conference championship. Med's like, don't trigger me.
Dude, no, I was gonna say
I
Jay
can't
Cutler,
believe that he didn't play that second half, man. What was that?
Jay, who?
Charmin Soft. That's what that is.
Yeah, that is. Ed's in. Yeah, we got this going.
What's up,
Ed,
Ed?
I'm counting you in, man. I'm gonna start making a list. Got my dad. All right, I'm making a list. Dad, let me know how many you got. Sadly, I do have to cap it at 10, only because StreamYard. Otherwise, we would have done 12. Excited for the fantasy football, indeed. Steve, if you want in, totally cool, man. Let me know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
And the fantasy one, the all-time one will be cool.
Matt, are you?
Snoop Dogg, we got some comments. I told you your blessings are coming. Thanks, Janae. Snoop Dogg, we got some good comments. Matthews forced fumble. The other Packer one, I love the Desmond Howard return because the Patriots were threatening, and that just was ground shaking. I was only 8 years old, and I was stupid excited. And I loved the Packers and Michael Jordan in the 90s, so that one was special. But I have to highlight this one. It's an anti-Packer one. But when the Packers the following year in the 90s were, I believe it was 13.5-point favorites against John Elway and the Broncos, and we had a Super Bowl party, and this is in honor of my late Aunt Julie. I'm going to talk something good about her right now. She was the only Broncos fan my dad had a party. Dad, we were
13-point favorites.
He celebrated early. He thought we were going back to back. And we had so many people over. Dad, you want to paint the rest of the picture?
You know, and a lot of people came over.
And we had I was running card tables. I was 9. We were running poker. I think he had roulette, like a handmade roulette.
Oh,
he had a Super Bowl trophy he made the year before in the yard because we lived in Michigan at the time, Upper Michigan. And it was a frozen Lombardi trophy. And he got all excited because he thought we were going to repeat. And we all did because they looked better the next year.
Everybody who came to the party, they donated $20. They got beer, right? And then whoever ended up with the most fake money before the Super Bowl, because we had these little gambling stations, whoever ended up with the most fake money got paid like $50, $75. It was like a little casino. It was a kind of a fun casino thing. But then the game started.
and then Elway's helicopter run. When he was running, he gets hit by, I think it was Leroy Butler and somebody else, and he helicoptered in the air and pulled that off.
Oh.
That was special. But I also got to highlight that one was my least favorite one because that one sucked. Brady's 25-point comeback, I think Steve said that was huge. But both giant victories against Brady and the Philly one, because I'm sorry, Brady's one of the most dominant players of all time. We're going to talk later for me. He just is. But watching him have his kryptonite be the NFC East, Eli Manning and Nick Foles.
The GOAT Slayer.
Right? The NFC East just stopped Brady from getting 10. Just love it.
I was going to say, you better be quiet now. Pete's going to hear you. He got mad at me. I said,
he's sick. I feel bad. He probably, I'm attacking a wounded dog here. It feels wrong, but. But also I really enjoyed that, and I missed the Cincinnati ones in the late 90s against Joe Montana. I wish I'd been alive for those. Those were just highly iconic. And I wish I'd been alive. I mean, Dad probably barely remembers it, but the Bart Starr early Packer ones with Vince and the Ice Bowl and all that stuff right before was just awesome. But
can also for that the 85 Bears Super Bowl was special.
And it shouldn't stand out, but another one that does, because maybe it's because it's recent, but Aaron Donald and the Rams, just it was crazy because Beckham went out and I think they would have slaughtered him. That was when Beckham was at his apex with the Rams, and they had Cup, and he had to just force feed it to Cup. Stafford did, and Aaron Donald made those game-sealing plays against Joe Burrow. That one stood out because that was my first one I watched with Lynn, my wife now. It was our first one we watched together. But it was just a great game too, and I watched it by myself. I think she fell asleep before the end of it, but just the way Aaron Donald closed it and the way Cup and Stafford were just enough to overcome Burrow. That was kind of unique too. So, yeah, long-winded thing. All right.
One other Super Bowl moment that I actually do like, and this is kind of a shout out to my dad, rest in peace. But when San Antonio Holmes caught that pass from Ben Roethlisberger against the Cardinals, and right before that one, Gerald running all the way for that one touch. I mean that game by
and you thought they had it, and then the look on his face. And Med, I don't think you know this. I went to that conference championship the game before that in Arizona with Kurt Warner. I saw that live.
That's cool. Yeah.
That was fun. That was a good team. That was a fun team. Yeah, Kurt Warner, his career resurrection at the end there was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just made me think of another question after we do your not really football question about best athletes. I got another question for the guys after that, and I'll just keep that to myself.
Cool, man. Well, all right. You guys got any other Super Bowl stuff? I think we're ready to do this game breakdown. You guys ready?
Super Bowl thing. Chicago Bears, I'm just throwing this out. With Walter Payton running, 85.
There you go. You're talking to Med.
Probably one of the best defense. What was it, Rex? What was his name? Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan.
And they put Fridge in to get a touchdown. And Walter Payton did not get a touchdown in that game.
That is a big shame. Crazy. That is a huge shame. I mean, I didn't really bring up my Super Bowl because you have to have a hot tub time machine to actually go back that far to see when we actually won one. So I mean, that's
man. If they do this draft thing right and get another haul and get the right quarterback,
I think we'll be straight.
This NFC North could be stupid good. We could be the class of the seriously the whole league if you really think about it. If Minnesota plays their cards right, you might have four really good. You could have four playoff teams.
Yeah, all four. Yeah.
The return of the black and blue division.
Heck yeah! I hope so. I wanted the Lions to win. I'm not like Frozen Tundra. I wanted them to win to get there because I've got people in Michigan that still love the Lions.
Sure.
And my dad's dad, my grandpa was a huge Lions fan. It would have been freaking cool to see this team get there. So. But if the Packers are going to lose to the 49ers, at least get to the Super Bowl and slay Mahomes, win the thing.
Yep.
That's my hope.
So moving on to the Super Bowl, the way that we're going to actually break this down is we're going to be doing basically position by position. We'll be talking about their offensive line strengths, if you want to go that deep, receivers and compare them side by side, and then we'll say our edge. We'll each give each other about maybe a minute and 32 minutes each. So that way you don't really have to I don't want to feel like you just ran a marathon. It's probably the best way to really put it. So that way we can actually keep it on time and everything like that. But what we'll do is we'll go with wisdom. We'll go with Tom, Steve, me, and then Izac, or however you want to do it. And then we'll go from that. And the first thing up, obviously, we'll go with quarterbacks. How do you feel about what the matchup is, Mr. Tom? And, I'm pretty sure we're all going to probably agree with this one, but go ahead and start with yours.
Quarterback, mini GOAT, Patrick Mahomes versus Purdy, who really was an MVP candidate before he had that game. Was it Baltimore?
Yeah, the 4-pick game.
I'm a little closer on this one, actually. I think Purdy is he's an up and rising star in the NFL, but certainly going to give the edge to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we got Brock Purdy, someone that was Mr. Relevant in the NFL draft, Mr. Relevant to can be a Super Bowl MVP, depending on how the game goes. But in regards to this matchup, one-on-one, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes, and just with his credentials and how well he plays, Brock has a chance to start his own thing, right? And be able to go from there in this game. But for right now, as we stand heading into said game, I'm going Patrick Mahomes with the edge.
I pretty much already said it earlier in the show that I believe it's Patrick Mahomes having the edge. Brock Purdy has really kind of, in my ways, silenced his critics. I mean, like you just mentioned, he's Mr. Irrelevant, and to see his story right now has been one of the more pleasing things that you've actually watched as far as football. A lot of people criticize him because of the weapons that are around him. Hey, at one point, you can't do it by yourself. Lamar Jackson just proved that. But the one thing about Brock Purdy is that he's extremely resourceful. One thing I will say is that he doesn't have in a game like this against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, you cannot wait till the second quarter to really shine. Or a second half, because if you start off slow, it's going to bite you in the butt. And, that's one thing I will say about Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people criticize him. A lot of people don't like him, but the man is the best quarterback in NFL right now. And when you watch how he played that one Super Bowl against the Bucs, he seemed like he was the only player that actually walked out on that field that day. And
certainly not that offensive line.
Yeah, definitely wasn't all offensive line, and we'll get to that edge too. But, really and truthfully, like y'all just said, I mean, Mahomes is the mini GOAT. I mean, if you've been to 3 Super Bowls in a 6-year period, that's saying a lot about the type of player you are.
4 now, right?
This will be 4.
That's nuts. So Pete I didn't tell you, Matt, because we've been in the show. It was during the show. Pete made our top 10s, and Mahomes was both of our 1. But Purdy was 5 for you, and he was 7 for me. So we both have a lot of respect for the guy. Pete had him Purdy at 5. Dad, we made a top 10 QB list. Honestly, I think it'd be fun at the end if there's time. We'll do it in this episode too. It's funny. I just pulled this up. There actually are some edges that Purdy has. And I still think it's a landslide for Mahomes. But I like the fact that Purdy can use his legs. We didn't really talk it on this episode, but we did early in the week. Purdy's runs in that game against Detroit were difference-making. I love the fact that this dude has just enough wheels and knows when to take off. And in that Lions game, they were such impactful runs that were needed at that time. And it was one of the big differences in the game. I think without them, San Fran maybe loses the game, actually. They were only 54 yards, and it was only 4 of them, but they all mattered. And Mahomes does that same thing. So they both can move. So that's interesting. Over their careers so far, Purdy actually has a higher completion percentage than Mahomes, 68.7 to 66.5. His record his win percentage is slightly better because he's only lost 4 games, Purdy, which is kind of nuts. Mahomes is 74-22, so his is stupid good. But Purdy's 17-4, which is also stupid good. Passing yards per attempt, Purdy's ahead of him right now, 9.2. A lot of people think Purdy just dumps the ball off, but he doesn't. He actually throws it further down the field, 9.2 to 7.9. Purdy has the edge there, if you can believe that. I pulled up a side-by-side comparison. Interceptions, Purdy's actually been pretty good so far, 15. Not bad. Mahomes is good at that, obviously. He has 219 to 63. Quarterback rating, I was surprised. Purdy has the edge at 111 to Mahomes at 103. That was very interesting as well. I think Purdy's a little underrated. I think if Purdy cannot do this Bruce Banner Hulk thing and show up in the first half and be the Hulk the whole time and not wait to Hulk out until the third quarter, they actually have a chance in this game. Like, I don't want to hear refs and all that crap. I'm so tired of conspiracy theorists telling me it's rigged, whatever. I'm over it. I agree with you, Med. But if Purdy can start quickly, they have a chance. But you are looking, in my opinion, Dad, I want to get your thoughts on this in a minute. I had Mahomes. Med, did you have him too as well? We did all-time quarterback list. I forgot to write them down. Where was Mahomes for you? He was top 5 for you too, right?
No.
No? All-time?
No, he wasn't all-time, no.
No, he wasn't on your. I just wish I'd written him down. I'm sorry.
Look at it again, yeah, because I didn't write that down, but I
didn't either. I'll have to replay it. We did an all-time list, Dad, and Mahomes was 2 for me, all-time. I mean, I can't definitively tell you anybody was better. I need to relook at Dan Marino, but he didn't win one, which knocks him for me.
Marino didn't get in my. Well, I don't think he was in my top 10, but I've always said that Marino was more of a systems quarterback. In my opinion.
I hate to crap on JB, but yeah, that's kind of my thought too. He was a great system quarterback and he had elite talent, but you can only tell me defense so much. It's just like the Herbert thing. You got to stop the bleeding at some point in that playoff game. And just like Matt Ryan, unfortunately, had this with Atlanta, do something. Your defense, if that's happening, you got to do something. They should have ran the ball, but do something in a half in the Super Bowl. It matters.
Right.
Get a nice tour of Steve's house.
Yeah. Like it, Steve. Here's my bedroom. I'm not going to fuck around. So, yeah, Mahomes for me too.
Yeah.
Next matchup.
I'm going to go with running back.
Sounds good to me.
How you
This
feeling,
one's
Tom?
interesting as well.
Yeah.
Running back?
Running back. We got Mr.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. McCaffrey is clearly the better running back. I like the edge that the Niners have here. I think Pacheco is really good, right? But I'm going to go definitely just go with McCaffrey.
Pacheco, he's a tough runner, and with how he's been playing and just how he's come on the scene in the NFL, a late round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really have enjoyed seeing his play. I would give the slight edge to McCaffrey. I think it's a lot closer than most may think. But for me, I'd give the slight edge to McCaffrey here in the running game. If the Niners can get the running game going, I think that's going to be the key because in regards to the battle between Pacheco and McCaffrey is the better one, but Pacheco just is playing better as of now. But I'm going to go slight edge to McCaffrey and the Niners.
Whenever I watch Pacheco run, he kind of reminds me of Marion Barber from the days when he played for the Dallas Cowboys.
I like that one.
The main reason why is because he's the smallest running back that has a very physical style. Now, I honestly hope that he'll prolong his career longer than what Marion Barber did. I mean, Marion Barber, I think, had 2 Pro Bowl seasons in a 7-year span. But after 5 years, he was pretty much a shell. Like he took a beating. And
he passed away? What?
He did?
Yeah, in 2022. He died at 38. So the late, great Marion Barber. He was a one-time Pro Bowler.
One time? Well,
yeah, 2007. But he died almost a year and a half ago.
That's
actually,
crazy.
raped the day before I got married. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even catch that. That might have been why I missed it. I was busy.
Yeah, you're preoccupied.
Yeah, I was. My dad was in town actually for that. He was here when that happened on June 1st.
Mhm.
That's probably why we missed it. We were out doing. That was fun.
But yeah, as far as like running backs go, Pachinko reminds me of Marion Barber. He really brings a lot of balance to the Chiefs' offense. Like you said, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back there too, but it's really Pachinko's show, and he kind of took it over last year as a rookie. I don't even say it's really a slight edge with McCaffrey, because I've already stated a few times that I think McCaffrey should be the NFL MVP this year. I think as far as that award goes, it's become more of a quarterback award. I mean, it is a QB-driven league, but you cannot ignore the fact that he has over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. And he also transforms a good offense into a great offense. I mean, they had Elijah Mitchell, who is his backup, who was pretty solid as well, kind of in the same mold as Isaiah Pachinko. But, you know, like Steve touched up on, it's going to be this is really a key thing right here, is what happens with the running games between the two teams, because the thing about McCaffrey is he's not just good at running the ball, and he's got a good physical style too. He can catch it out of the backfield equally as well. So I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers on this one.
You know, it's interesting. I just looked up some stuff on Marion Barber. Yeah, he died in Texas, in Frisco, actually. So it was like right near not too far from where I actually live. It's only like an hour away. And it was at an important time in my life, so I think that's why I missed that one. I wasn't paying attention to sports stuff in June, so I guess I just missed it. But he never even had a 1,000-yard season, Marion Barber, which is kind of interesting. But he did make one Pro Bowl, and he had a couple years where he averaged almost 5 yards a carry, and then he had one more decent year with Dallas, and then he really tailed off. So like you nailed it. He was really a 5-year stretch, and there was really 4 really awesome seasons in there. One, he didn't even start, actually. That season that he made the Pro Bowl, he didn't even start a game. He had almost 1,000 yards that year, but that's just a little Marion Barber little sidebar there. This is a landslide. This is where the 49ers need to win this game. They need to be able to run at the Chiefs and make things easier for Purdy here. Pacheco didn't even have 1,000 yards this year, and I like him. He's a good running back. He averaged 4.6 yards a carry. He had 7 TDs. He had almost 1,200 yards total. But you're looking at McCaffrey in a landslide as the best running back in the NFL this year. I think the next best guy, might have been Derrick Henry, honestly, and that's a pretty big gap this season. So there might be some other guys I'm missing. Like Rachaad White was an awesome receiving back, but just pure running backs. And McCaffrey offers you all that the receiving talent. So the dude, Med said a lot of this, 21 TDs, over 2,000 yards, but he averaged almost 5.5 yards a carry. That's just stupid. This guy is like overcoming this injury stuff, is becoming an all-time great. And if he can get a ring to pad that legacy, he's already probably going to be a Hall of Famer. He would cement that if he gets this ring with the 49ers. Mind you, we got to remember, as good as the 49ers have been over the last decade, they really have. They had some down seasons, but they started with the stupid Colin Kaepernick crap against the Packers. He would just destroy them. And I don't say that for any political stuff. I hated him because he burned the Packers. But they haven't gotten that ring. They've gotten there twice, I believe, and they haven't been able to break through. And some of that's on Shanahan. I need to see how he does this time. Now, you can't really say that last one. They had Garoppolo. They played a good game. They were close. Purdy is a notch, at least a notch, maybe 2 notches better than Garoppolo. So this is going to be, the running game could be the difference here. Which team is more effective running the ball? Going to find out. I'm leaning heavy McCaffrey here.
All right. Because
against that Chiefs run D, though, that's going to be interesting.
And that's why the next one I'm going to actually say is you're going to be talking about the offensive line next.
Oh, I got to pull some stats on this one. Hold on.
I already got some up if y'all want me to go first on this time.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
You got 2 good offensive lines here.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going with it. And it's more than just one or two players, but I mean, right now you're looking at the Okay, so first off, the Chiefs' masterful job in replacing two Pro Bowl caliber tackles in Tunney and Orlando Brown
Are
earlier
they playing in the Super Bowl?
No, they were free agents this past year. Tunney went to Washington and Brown went to Cincinnati, but they replaced. So
I thought. Are you sure? I thought Thuney was just out for this last game.
Oh, I'm 100% sure. Because that was
no, Thuney plays for the Chiefs, dude.
Huh?
Thuney plays for. Oh, you're saying? Oh, I misunderstood you. My bad. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood.
Correct.
I thought you were saying Thuney was gone from the Chiefs, and I was like,
no,
but I meant he was injured in the last game, and that's why I was asking if he's playing the Super Bowl.
He could be.
Go ahead.
I just read he could be out.
No, I get Matt's point now. My bad. I misunderstood. Yeah, he missed the last game, and it didn't really hurt him that bad.
Well, it might not be Tunney who I'm thinking about then. But anyway, both their left tackle and their right tackle left after last season, after the Super Bowl. One went to Washington, one went to Cincinnati. This year, they only gave up 28 sacks. And, Jawan Taylor, who was with Jacksonville last year, slid in pretty well. And Trey Smith, for the most part, other than those two holding calls that they had that took off a Rashawn Rice touchdown in the Ravens game. And, just really and truthfully, just amazing. Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold, for the one game that he played, the San Francisco 49ers have given up 34 sacks, but they also have probably one of the best left tackles in the game in Trent Williams. And right now, the way that I look at it, because I look at what the offense can do and how well they can actually move the ball and everything. And me personally, I am actually going to give the edge to the 49ers, even though that they have given up more sacks than the Chiefs, because I think that the 49ers do more overall. Really and truthfully, I look at the Chiefs still as kind of a passing team. So my edge goes.
I was gonna give the edge there, but my problem is if Thuney, or however you say his name, Tunney, however you say his name, if he's out, he's an All-Pro player, and that's just a huge loss for KC. So I'm kind of leaning San Fran for that reason, because that's just a big loss, man. It really is.
It doesn't say out, but he's got a pectoral injury.
He's in danger of missing that game, and that one. That's a really big. Matt did a really good job breaking down. So I'm going to focus on the injury here. Matt, that was a good breakdown. Seriously, that was awesome. Because I knew bits, but I didn't know all the players, so that was good. But no, that's a problem for me. I like what you said though. They that was something they did in free agency. They didn't spend in receiver, and that was one of the reasons they were able to overcome it this year. Although I'm going to be curious on this. That December, I think it was Christmas game. Pretty sure it was Christmas. Against the Raiders might be a blueprint if the 49ers can replicate. I don't know if they can. The Raiders defense at the end of the season with Pierce and Max Crosby, oh my gosh, he was awesome this year. I'd give him Defensive Player of the Year. They just won't because the team wasn't a playoff team. But he was, to me, the best player. There was a lot of good ones. Khalil Mack was great. Obviously Garrett. Nobody on the Cowboys deserves it. But if the Raiders can move that, or so the Raiders did this. If the 49ers can move that Chiefs line back, if Thuney's out, that could be difference making in this game. And the 49ers front, if they can get Chase Young locked in, is freaking good. That's their strength. So can they beat up the Chiefs line? That could be the key in this game for victory for the 49ers. They're going to have to, without blitzing. Can that front four get pressure? Because that is a blueprint to making Mahomes run around. And like that Raiders game, he ran over 1,000 yards on the field, and it didn't do anything. House divided.
Let me just throw something else out there that maybe we didn't think about. I think it's interesting. Jawan Taylor. Is the most penalized freaking offensive lineman in the game.
No way. Really?
Yeah,
I think so.
First game. Watch the first
game. That's
game.
what Boca was saying.
Yeah.
He says they hold a lot. How many flags, Dad?
I don't know. I just remember hearing when I was watching the game.
Well,
Dang, man, that's crazy.
He looks like a can dancer over there. I mean, the first whole game, just watch the highlights from the first game they played against with Detroit. I mean, the whole time his leg is moving. And once you get set, I was a former offensive lineman. So when you get set, you're supposed to stay still up until
My
the
dad
ball.
was a defensive lineman.
I was also defense also. I played defensive end. I loved it. So
Same here. It was
I
amazing.
had a feeling you two were going to have fun. That's why I wanted my dad to hop on. I was like, Dad, you're going to love Matt. He's awesome. And then I was like, I got Steve on too. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Me and Tom are former trench warriors. Can't guy get done in trenches.
So we played, we lived in a town called Ishpeming. I got to throw this in, then I'm going to hit Steve. We lived in a town called Ishpeming. And it's actually, fun fact for you, Med, it is the first away game ever of the Green Bay Packers was played in Ishpeming, Michigan. That's where I was born.
Nice.
Isn't that
And they have an awesome high school football team, even recently. And my dad, his brother played on the team that won state. Dad, was it 2 years before in 80?
1980, yeah.
And you were on the
I was born.
He was on the JV team, I think.
And one other crazy stat is back in the day, even before that championship, and this is just a crazy little thing about our hometown. I think it was 76, so I'm dating myself, obviously. But back then you only had 2 or 3 channels. We're watching football, and they cut into the football broadcast to I can't remember. I think it was Brent Musburger to talk about the Ishpeming Hematites, our little town, right? Stupid. It's about 6,000 people. Just had defeated a team in the state championship who had been there. They had the nation's longest winning streak or something like that. But to see that on national, they cut into the NFL
cool.
Like really quick. It was kind of cool. But well, anyway, that's just a little bit about Ishpeming.
Yeah. All right, Steve, it's your turn for sure.
Whose turn?
Your turn, Steve.
Steve.
Sorry, I forget I put myself on mute to let other people talk. Anyways, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers in regards to the edge, and kind of going over what's been already discussed in regards to injury, in regards to what they need to do. But just in general, I just see, how especially with the Packers, playing them, and here against the Lions most recently, being more impressed more so than Chiefs in regards to their offensive line in their games heading into the Super Bowl. I just feel that the Niners have an edge, maybe even a bigger edge depending on that injury. But I would just say right now a slight edge I would give to the San Francisco 49ers in that category.
All right, I like it. Receivers next, Med?
Yeah, and did you go? Yeah, I got it pretty much all written down. But you went with 49ers, and Tom, you went with 49ers too.
Yeah, that alt pro guard is the biggest reason why. If I knew he was playing 100%, I probably would have leaned Chiefs, honestly.
All right, so that Steve doesn't have to stay on mute, I'll go and start receivers with him.
All right. Well, in regards to receivers, I mean, both teams, with Brock Purdy and Mahomes being able to dink and dunk to any receiver and be able to be the player of the game, right? You have your number ones, but you have your options 2 and 3 that can take over a game just as easily because you have that depth in the wide receiver room, full stop, and I would say, though, in regards to which team has an edge, I probably would say the Kansas City Chiefs in the wide receiver room just because, honestly, just because of where I have the edge of the quarterbacks, so that kind of being linked together. So with Mahomes and his receiving core, I would say, having a running back like Pachinko that could also be used in your passing game, not as an active wide receiver. I would still say that the Chiefs have the edge here, and though the Niners, depending on how they plan, scheme, and all that stuff, can obviously stay in the game, be able to put the pedal to the metal themselves. I would say in this category, my edge goes to the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver core.
I will add real quick. I also have the tight ends and receivers separated in this. You still good with that?
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. Dad, Steve, I like your take, man.
I like
Seriously.
that. Yeah.
And hey, really quick, I'm going to say this. I meant to say this earlier. I'm so sorry. Thanks for having me on your show on Wednesday, man. That was like one of my favorite episodes of everything I've ever done, dude. That was really cool. Need another special ed teacher and everything we got to talk about. I hope people check it out. It was really cool, and I'm excited to be back on with you guys in February. I was going to save it for the end, but I just wanted to throw that in really quick.
Thanks.
All right, Dad. You're up, man. Receiver.
Steve on this one. I think that this is a bigger there's a bigger disparity here because the receivers for Kansas City have let down Mahomes. They've let down Mahomes throughout most of the year.
Yeah.
And Debo and Ayuk are two that combination. That's a pretty damn good combination. I mean, Debo brings running after the catch, right? Rack yards. Ayuk is very, very skilled and talented. So I think it's a bigger discrepancy. It's probably one of the biggest discrepancies. Now, Rashee Rice, I'll give Kansas City that. He is emerging. He's a young player. I think he's a rookie, right? He's kind of turned into the go-to guy. Is he a rookie?
Yeah, he's a rookie. He's actually stepped it up, honestly. But yeah, I agree with you.
Kind of had to turn into the go-to guy in the receiving corps because the other guys just have not shown consistency. They've I think the most drops. Probably I don't have the stats, but
I mean you've had Scantling catching the ball recently. People have been celebrating because that's a victory for them.
Fun to secure the game, and I was when he caught that I was like, oh man, at least he caught it.
Exactly.
But so I hate to disagree with you, Steve, but I'm gonna go heavy San Francisco on this one. Although I do think a key to the game is how big of a game Rashee Rice has in this game. I think Rashee Rice could be one of the key players in the game. So that's my take.
Med, can I hit this really quick and then you can go last because I've gone last on a lot. Hold on, I can see these comments really quick. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I might start muting. I didn't think there was anything in the background. Like there could be dogs and stuff, but I figured we're good. But anyways, sorry, Steve, I got to disagree too. I'm really similar to my dad on this one, not just to agree, but the Chiefs receivers were why I thought they weren't going to make the Super Bowl. Because Rice, like I'm going to pull up some stats, but Rice was Kelsey didn't, and we're going to get in the tight ends, but Kelsey with his age, I think he's kind of at that point where he can dominate in stretches. I was worried that wasn't even there anymore, but clearly he can still dominate in stretches. But he was banged up this season, and I almost think it's like LeBron now, where he has to take his foot off the pedal a little bit because he can only dominate like in spurts now at his age. And he's been banged up. I think we're going to see more of that from Kelsey. He'll still be awesome in the playoffs, but I don't think he'll be dominant in the regular season anymore. But the Chiefs receivers, man, I didn't think they were going to make a Super Bowl because of it. I thought they were going to lose to Buffalo in the playoffs or to Baltimore, and they've been able to overcome it. But it's been the weakness of that probably the entire roster. Whereas the 49ers, Jennings has made some plays for them this year as their third receiver. But Ayuk has been a stud. He is balled out. Yeah, leave some comments, guys. And if anybody wants to join this last bit here, that'd be cool. I'll send you the link if you want to. Me and Matt have been talking about it, so I think we need to start doing it. Probably at the end of the Super Bowl, like at the end of the Super Bowl breakdown. But 49ers, that's one of the strengths of their team. On offense, outside of Mahomes, I'm giving the edge pretty much everywhere to San Fran. And right here, I'm heavy going San Fran. I think that the Chiefs defense is going to be able to neutralize some of this. And that Baltimore game is a blueprint for the Chiefs. If you can disrupt those receivers and disrupt that timing, getting Purdy's, get in his face and disrupt the passing lanes, you can stop them. But I'm curious what's going to happen here. I'd go if I was grading this, I'd go like 10-4 49ers on this one. I think it's heavy. But I do like Rashee Rice. Like my dad said, the Chiefs are going to need him if they're going to win this game.
I mean, if Valdez Scantling and Kadarius Toney like blow up, Steve's gonna come back up in here and
we're gonna Steve back on. We're gonna be like, hey, told you so.
I'll be rushing the field, yeah.
He'll be like, hey, who are the better receivers on Sunday? I'm gonna be like, Mahomes can make people look good though.
Yeah. He can. But also at the same time, I look at the fact like there were some stats that we dropped, as far as Valdez Scantling and the drops. Literally, you could just put that in there with him and Toney. Their drops have cost them a couple games this whole season.
Yep.
Rice,
the Eagles game.
If I was to actually include Kelsey into this, then it would be a lot closer because I just like Kelsey that much. But when you're looking at what they have, the physicality of Deebo Samuel after he catches it, the Brandon Ayuk and his insane hands, and the fact that he has game-breaking ability, Juwan Jennings, that one-handed catch, wow! I mean he was getting hit while he made that catch too, and it was one-handed. It was very similar to Odell Beckham Jr., except for he was getting drilled when it happened. The receivers for San Fran, I mean, it depends on how deep you want to go. Like if you want to say just 3 and up, but Mahomes just does have magic, and he makes people look real good. And Rice, he's going to be something special in the next few years. I don't think he's going to be like Dwayne Bowe or Mecole Hardman. I mean, Hardman's on Chiefs now again, but I just think that there's going to be. My edge goes to the 49ers pretty much on everything on offense, just like Izac said. It's just, and I was really
quarterback. And honestly, I think I'd lean Kittle, but in this game, that's going to be a fun matchup to break down.
And that's what we're going to be doing next. And this time, I went with the 49ers, but we'll let Steve usually starts off second. So Steve, you take it. Izac, you're next. Tom, then me.
All right, we got your tight ends. I'm going to give this a big win for the Niners, or not for the Niners, for the Chiefs. We got your tight ends with Kelsey, just being a beast and unstoppable no matter who you try to put up against him. I don't think you'll be able to slow him down too much, let alone at all. Though I have enjoyed you checking and how the Niners use him in regards to their offensive planning. But I just think it's too much of a runaway for me. I go with Kansas City Chiefs, Kelsey, the tight ends there.
Am I second or is Tom second? I was second, right?
Isaac's up.
You're second. Yeah, I had me on mute.
This one's tough because in a normal game, I'd go Kittle. I'm starting to factor the defenses in. I think you're looking at the best 2 tight ends in the league right now at this moment. Like Kelsey had a down season, and he still proved in that AFC championship game how much of a baller he is when you need him. And until I see him not produce on a big stage, I'm still going to go Kelsey. This is the only edge I'm giving other than Mahomes, and it's really, really slim. But I do think, because I'm a little concerned about the Chiefs' defense trying to slow Kittle down. I think that's going to be a focus for them. The Packers weren't able to do it. I'm going to throw up Matt's comment. I agree. Shots. This is a tough one because I think both are awesome. Kittle had a slightly better regular season. That was a down season for Kelsey. And I'm starting to wonder if regular season if they need them, if it's going to be less and less and try to preserve them for the playoffs moving forward. Kelsey, to me, still has lost a little bit, and I still think he might have a better game here. This is tight. I'd go like a 1-point edge here if I was scoring this. I'd go like 10-9, Kelsey. It's close. I love Kittle. He's awesome. He's a few years younger. Kittle's going to need to have a big game for San Fran to win. So if they can find ways to get him open, that could be another serious difference maker in deciding this matchup. I'm going to go slight Kelsey. Dad, what do you think?
All right. You guys aren't going to like me after this. So, I have a lot of respect for Kelsey. He's definitely been the top tight end in the league for a long, long, long time. Inconsistent during the regular season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I kind of feel like if it wasn't for Kelsey, KC wouldn't be here.
Agreed. Especially last game.
I don't feel like Kansas City has a lot of other weapons, around Kelsey. Kelsey has to be that star. And I do think he's declined a little bit from his elite status.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of the ball, San Francisco has a couple of freaking all-pro linebackers back there. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
I can pull up the Chiefs D, but I know they've got ballers everywhere.
So I just look at it like from a scheming perspective, and I know Kelsey. What we hear is he's impossible to guard, right? But from a scheming perspective, you have to stop Kelsey if you're San Francisco, and then from there, then get pressure up the middle on Mahomes. But the way I'm looking at this is Kittle. I'm going with Kittle in this one, just slight edge, and I know it's not popular, and that's okay. But I'm going to go Kittle because you have to defend McCaffrey, you have to defend Ayuk, you have to defend Debo, and Kittle. You cannot focus just on Kittle. Like San Francisco can focus. I know Rashee Rice is out there, Pacheco. I know that, but they could focus on Kelsey as best they can, and they have all pros too. In those positions that can possibly slow him down a little bit. So that's my take.
It's a fine take. I mean, the whole point of this is, this ain't going to be like Facebook where I get blitzed by people that say I don't know anything, even though I'm a coach and played semi-pro football. But that's neither here or there. No, I like to take on Kittle, and Kittle is actually one of my favorite players in the NFL because of his playing style. He has that extremely physical. He's one of those players that can make a great play. And with just the energy that he can give you on offense, he can actually bring that to you. But I still will probably go with Kelsey on this one. I mean, to me, Kelsey is the GOAT tight end. I know a lot of people feel like it's Tony Gonzalez or it's, Winslow or I could even say
a lot of good ones, Gronk.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally think it's Travis Kelsey because Gronk was the benefactor of Tom Brady throwing ones up the seams to him and then let him catch it and then he get.
I think Mahomes is Kelsey's a little bit of the beneficiary of that from Mahomes, but he played with Alex Smith too. Still produced.
And he still produced. This is the only year that he's been in the NFL where he has not topped 1,000 yards, other than I believe his rookie season. And he's been in there. He's been in the game for a while. He's 34 right now, and the hits will get to you. You're going to diminish a little bit, but he's still Travis Kelsey. And he proved in his playoffs that, he scored 3 big touchdowns. And like you touched up on already, the Chiefs would not be here if he wasn't on that team. And, other than that, they got Noah Gray behind them, which, if Kelsey was to go down with an injury, you're like, ooh. And
that'd be, they'd lose. They'd lose without him. They could more afford to lose Rashee Rice than Kelsey at this point, in my opinion. And they're going to need Rashee Rice too, or Pacheco even.
Yeah, and so I'm going to just go ahead and I'll just say Kelsey. And so the next one I have up, I'm going to throw to Tom first, Izac second, Steve third. I'll go last again because you are the Deacon Jones of this group. We're going defensive line.
Does that include the edge?
That includes the edge.
All right.
This is a fun one because they got some talent on both teams.
Gosh. Problem, when I was looking this morning, Kansas City has a starter who's out towards ACL. Do you guys know who that is?
I'll pull up the injury report. Give me a second. Hold on.
The Chiefs, Okowana or something. I can't pronounce his name.
Okona. Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he's a really good player too. So
yeah, he's going to be out this game for sure. I like the 49ers obviously on the edge with Boza.
And Hargrove, that was a huge loss for Philly. They missed him. That was smart pickup by the 49ers. I'm wondering if Chase Young's going to do it. They got Armstead.
Just real quick, it's Charles Amanahu. Yeah.
So the Chiefs lose, a starter in the defensive on the defensive line. You've got Nick Bosa, Chase Young rushing from the edge. Obviously, Chris Jones is, he's special for Kansas City. This is probably, because of the injury, I'm going to go slightly with the 49ers. When you take the edge and the interior of the line and you put them together, I'll go with the 49ers on this. So I don't have much more of a take on it.
This one's interesting because I think this is where the 49ers, I kind of teased it earlier. This is where they're going to have to win this game. And I think I'm going to give the slight edge to them. But, man, Chris Jones is a baller. He reminds me of he's not quite on Aaron Donald's level, but he's made some plays. And without him, I don't think they'd be here. You saw them lose that opener to the Lions without Kelsey and without Chris Jones. And Chris Jones is probably going to sign somewhere else, unfortunately, because he's going to command like $30 million a year. And it's because he steps up in the playoffs. He's such a difference maker. But you got Bose on the other side. You got Armstead. If Chase Young can wake his butt up, you got him. And you've got you got Armstead and you got Hargrove. That's a good front. I'm actually gonna go. I'm almost willing to say tie, but I think that the line that's going to make the bigger difference here is going to probably be. Oh man, I'm almost tied on this one. This is tough.
No ties.
I think that the one that's going to make the bigger difference is actually going to be the Chiefs. Their defense is better, and part of the reason is that defensive line. So even with that guy out, I'm going to go Chiefs. Nick Bosa, the 49ers D is going to need to be better than the Chiefs defensive line to win. You win these Super Bowls in the trenches. People don't see it, but you do. That's why Brady lost 3, because the Giants had a defensive line and they built that way. And that's what I'm hoping the Packers get smart and do, and don't just rest on their laurels and get another player on Kenny Clark's level, because you can't just have one. All these teams that make the Super Bowl, they've got a hell of a defensive line. They've got a quarterback. It's the same recipe over and over. You got to be able to run the ball, have somebody decent at least. You got to have a quarterback that at least steps up at the very minimum. But it seems like you got to have a top 5 guy or have an elite defense. But defensive line gets you there. It does. I'm gonna go Chiefs. I think that Chris Jones is gonna wreak some havoc. I really do.
Yeah, you have Chris Jones, one of the best defensive players there in the league. They're on the Kansas City side. You got Nick Bosa and the guy they picked up from the Commanders, Chase Young, there as well for their defensive line. And just seeing how Chase has done since coming to the 49ers, being able to fit in that scheme and be able to play well. I mean, he's a great player on his own right, but fitting into the 49er way and defensive game plan as well for the DC defensive coordinator, putting him in, I think they've done well in regards to where he's placed and all that, in regards to where schemes go. Yeah, it's a very tough one in regards to who to go for. So I would give a slight edge to the San Francisco 49ers on the defensive side, just because with that two-headed monster. I know I just talked about how great Jones is for the Chiefs, but that injury for the Chiefs defensive line, and just who really they could have to try to plug a place and be able to be a difference maker beyond just one player. I think the San Francisco 49ers have more.
Can I jump on one little thing really quick?
More damage, so I'm going to go with the Niners.
The 49ers, I mean, Armstead, Hargrave, and obviously Bosa have been awesome. Chase Young had 7.5 sacks this season, and I'd read something that they were considering benching him because he's been taking plays off recently. And in the playoffs, in the 2 games so far, he's only had 6 tackles, no sacks, and I don't think he's even had a quarterback pressure. I'm going to have to find that out. But where's yeah, I mean, did have 3 tackles in each of the games, but he just hasn't really. Chase Young, they're going to need him because they're going to need somebody to take the double team off of Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
So Chase Young could be the decider here. Sorry, Matt. I just had to throw that in.
Good. No, you're fine. So I look at it 2 things, and I know that a lot of people think about Chris Jones and everything, but there's another guy called George Karlaftis the third. He came in from Purdue. A lot of people don't really pay much attention to him, but he had 10.5 sacks this year, and he has been kind of the Robin to Chris Jones Batman on that defensive line. They've been able to get consistent pressure constantly on the edge and everything because of him. And, you also got some other good players that are on that front line and everything like that. Now, they're not as deep as San Francisco 49ers, but also at the same time, even when they played the Packers, and y'all can agree with this, they pretty much neutralized that that defensive line. There was Jordan Love did not get any pressure. And when you're talking about a mobile quarterback that has a decent arm, the first person.
Actually, there was pressure on him. He handled it really well that game. The pocket did collapse frequently. I was actually really impressed with Jordan Love that one game because I don't think he only got sacked 2 or 3 times. I think it was 3 in the first half, if I'm remembering right. There was a lot of times, it wasn't just the throw to Dubs where he chucked it up. I don't know if you saw that whole game. But that game was weird because the Chiefs did get a ton of pressure, and that was the first game Love handled it really well. Hopefully Steve comes back. But it didn't get home in the second half. It was there. Right. They were closing, but Love still was. That was the first game he handled pressure. Hey, Bill. Bill's on. What's up, Bill? If you want to join, I'll send you the link. Let me know. We're almost done. I think we had about 30 minutes left.
Yeah. So as far as what my take was that you got into,
sorry, I apologize.
You're getting excited.
It was a Packer take, and I'm sorry. I've been really good all episode. I've been holding it in.
Yep, I've been watching you. You're doing good. Now, as far as the San Francisco goes, Nick Bosa is the only one that has double-digit sacks.
I'm gonna get Bill in. I'll be right back. Okay. Yes, keep going.
And basically, right now he's sitting at 10.5. Next closest is Javon Hargrove, who they picked up from Philly over the offseason, and he has 7. So I mean, like you said, Chase Young. When I'm watching him play right now, he does look like he's taking some plays off. And there was some key moments. Now, when they played against Detroit, that defensive line came back. Bosa, of course, dominated Sewell. And, that's one of those things where you kind of look at it as being a experience thing at that point. But
can I interrupt real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm just going to help to your point. At halftime, Shanahan called out Chase Young for his poor pursuit on a Gibbs touchdown run. And
Bill
stated that he was expecting other players to make the tackle and wasn't at 100% pursuit. So he actually called out Chase Young, but go ahead.
But yeah, no, as far as what I would say, as far as the edge goes with the defensive line and everything, I am going to be with Izac, and I'm actually going Chiefs on this one.
It was tough. I just like Chris Jones. Yeah, Bill, why don't we get you in on this take? I don't know where Steve went. I'm not sure what happened. I think he's audio only right now, so hopefully we can get his take. He's still in, but he went to. I don't know why he went to. It kicked him on audio. I was doing this earlier. We've got Bill's Fun Football Podcast. What's up, Blitz. Man? What's up?
I'm taking the Packers by 3. I'm going to take by 3.
Nice, man.
No, I think the Chiefs are going to take this one. I really do. So
we were breaking it down by matchup, and right now we're on defensive line. And this is tough because the Chiefs' defensive line has got some studs, and the 49ers' defensive line. We were pretty split. This was a pretty tough one for everybody. What are you thinking? Would you lean Chiefs' defensive line or 49ers' defensive line?
Yeah, both pretty stout, but I'm still leaning Chiefs, just barely. But I think the Chiefs line is a little bit better right now. So, I mean, the way Green Bay was able to run through that 49ers line, I think the Chiefs are going to do the same.
Right.
That's an interesting point, Bill. I like it. Very good. Mm-hmm. Joe. I like it. Look for every call that can be. So Joe, Dad's a reference, and for Bill, Joe is a huge Raiders fan, so it's a little bit of bias, but it's probably, unfortunately, slightly true on this one.
All right.
Steve, if you're here in audio, if you want to jump in with your take really quick, I don't know if you can still hear us or not. I'm going to make sure.
Well, he did. He already did the defensive line one. The next one will be linebackers.
All right, linebackers. Bill, you want to go first? You want
to? Linebacking crew. Gee.
Well, I can pull some guys up if you want.
Yeah, pull them up. I think I may lean Frisco on this one, but again, it's going to me, I think it's going to be a shootout. I mean, we always can talk defenses. It should be defenses, but then it winds up being a shootout. So, here's the thing. I mean, to me, it's going to be which quarterback manages the, play better. Turnovers, of course, that's always a factor. Who managed to keep the ball. So, I don't know. Go list off some for me there.
Chiefs have got.
I've already thought about all this. So,
all right, go ahead.
Do it, man.
All right. So the Chiefs also have Nick Bolton, who has been a very exceptional player for the last 2 years for the Chiefs. He came on last year as a rookie. They also have Willie Gates Jr., who is a pretty solid left outside linebacker. Now, the thing that I honestly will agree with is, and Izacs heard me say this, Joe, me and him agree with the same thing. Fred Warner is the best inside linebacker in the NFL right now. And he also is paired up with
Warner. He just said that, yeah.
Greenlaw. And for the,
I like Greenlaw a lot too.
The 49ers have by far the best linebacking core. Even though I love Nick Bolton, the 49ers had the best linebacking core. The only thing that is about them that actually hurts them, though, is they're super aggressive. And that's actually how Detroit was able to run so well against them. They did a lot of counters. So, in my opinion, linebacker, I'm going towards 49ers.
Can I jump on this really quick?
Go for it.
It's actually on your point. I would think the 49ers, but the way the Lions were able to run on them, it's interesting because the Chiefs, that's kind of the unsung heroes of that defense. And I'm going to actually lean Chiefs slightly. The Chiefs defense is better overall on every, not on every level, but it's a better defense. And Willie Gay and Bolton and Chenal has actually had a solid season too. They have really been, it's been difference making. And a lot of it's been those linebackers' pursuit. I love Warner and Greenlaw, but they can be a little bit over aggressive. And I'm worried those linebackers are not going to only need to be on the 49ers. For San Fran to win, they're not only going to have to be good in the pursuit of Pacheco, but they're going to have to be able to stop Kelsey and Gray, especially Kelsey. They're going to be huge in pass coverage. And I think that's where I'm edging Chiefs, because I think I'd have to look up the stat, but I think they're slightly better in pass coverage, because I know for a fact the 49ers pass D that's their weakness. They're like 14th or 15th. Whereas the Chiefs are, what are they, like second or third?
Yeah, but I mean, also at the same time, we know Greenlaw can catch. I mean, what did he do against Jordan Love? I mean,
hey, none of that.
Wow.
You're talking to 3 Packer fans still, man.
You're outnumbered, man.
No, you know what though? Greenlaw, that was the difference in that game. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's really close. This is just like defensive line. It's like it's a 9-10 thing. And I want to say 49ers, but when I factor in pass defense, I'm going to go Chiefs.
And I love
because linebackers matter there.
Yeah, no, I love Nick Bolton. He's in the top 5 in linebackers.
Willie Gay's good too, man. But actually, he's banged up, isn't he?
Yes.
I got to pull up this injury report. Hold on.
And I know Greenlaw hurt his shoulder during the Detroit game. With that one pop that he put on.
Let me pull up this injury report, because I need to start factoring this in. So injury report for the Super Bowl.
Don't they also have that Burks guy or whatever? Owen Burks?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to get into cornerback. Secondary will be the one after this.
And then special teams, I'm betting, right?
Yep.
And then we want to do coaching too?
If you want.
I'm game to do coaching. I'd love to. And then we can do, Bill, then we're going to do, I had a tweet today that's broken a record. I was testing the theory on most dominant. So think about this for later. Most dominant athlete of all time. We'll do like a football one too, but of any sport, male or female. We're going to do it in a little bit. Okay.
All right, got it.
Okay. Injury report for the game right now. I don't know why this is hard to find. Trent Williams, rest, no big deal. Armstead, he was full participation for the 49ers. Thomas, limited participation. He's a corner. Kittle, toe, he did not practice, but
He'll be there.
He's going to play.
Mhm.
Burks for the 49ers. Yeah, Kittle's playing.
Yeah.
Just, like they can, yeah, he's playing. He has to play. Yeah, Steve, I don't know where Steve went. It's like,
No.
he's not here anymore. I don't know if he had to go. He didn't say anything. I don't know. I'm not sure. Hopefully he hops back in. Burks, shoulder, limited practice. Khalil Davis, defensive lineman, he's depth guy. He ankle, full participation. Pacheco did not practice toe. We know he's playing. He's had this toe. He's still playing. Tooney, the pectoral, did not practice. I think he's in jeopardy of missing. Chris Jones, quad.
Really gay is sideline.
Yep. Chris Jones, quad, did not practice, but I haven't heard anything that says he's in doubt.
Well, I mean,
And then Omenahu, the guy you talked about, his knee.
Yeah, let's just be
But
real.
he had 7 sacks. Yeah, he was good.
Isaac, let me be real quick. If you're going to have a toe injury or anything like that, and it's a minor one like that, you're going to play in the Super Bowl. I mean, you're never going to get another chance possibly at doing this again. If it's a pectoral, then yeah, you're probably going to miss it. And
so Willie Gay's got a neck. That's concerning.
Yeah,
limited practice though. I still think he's playing. I knew there was a Willie Gay injury. That's why I went into injuries.
Oh, that's important.
Rasheed Rice has an ankle, but he's full participation. So it looks like the only guy, that really, really big name that's definitely sitting, that might actually sit, is the guard for the Chiefs at the moment, which is a big thing.
No, and the defensive lineman.
And the defensive lineman, yeah.
Oh, with ACL.
Looks like the 49ers are good. We're going to find out more next week. Okay. Sorry, I had to throw injuries out. All right, where are we at?
We're on Tom.
Oh,
linebackers.
Short and sweet. Fred Warner, right? Greenlaws. He's got a little banged up shoulder, but he'll play. I think I'm going to go with the 49ers on the linebacking crew. I do like Bolton a lot. I think Kansas City, the linebackers are really good. I'm going to go San Francisco.
I don't think he meant to do the fade to black. That was legit.
That was good. I like that. Special effects.
He made his take and then boom. That was
I'm taking the Niners. I'm going black.
And we talked AC/DC earlier, Bill, so that was perfect.
Oh, there you go.
I love it. All right, where are we at? So Tom gave his take. We got injuries in.
Bill with linebackers.
You know what? I kind of have to agree a little bit, the linebackers with the 49ers too. Even though as much as I like the Chiefs defense, I think the linebacking crew, if we're just that specific, I probably would take the linebacking crew of the 49ers.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man. Thanks for hopping in on short notice too, man. That was fun. I saw you. I was like, do you want to hop in? We're trying to bring people on this thing in the second half. So we had Steve on and my dad. I don't know where my dad went. So I'm betting work called him, honestly. He's had that on a lot recently. So, okay.
Secondary is next.
Secondary. Ooh.
I'll just say that I think it's the Chiefs. I really think that Snead is really underrated, and McDuffie on the other side is really good. They get. I just think it's Chiefs strictly because of the fact that their defense just seems more better as far as against the pass. So I'll just say Chiefs. Keep it short and sweet on that one.
I'm going to go Chiefs too. This is the 49ers' weakness. Is Ward going to be able to step up? Is somebody going to step up outside of him and slow down? I mean, you can't let Scantling or Tony beat you. Lennar's been their weakness. Their safeties have been okay, but that's the weakness of the 49ers. And that's where I'd be concerned. Love didn't have the best day, but the Lions, a lot of it was running, but they had their way in the first half. This is going to be Joe says secondary KC. I'm going to go that way too because, like you said, Snead is one of the best corners in the league. McDuffie's good, and those safeties are awesome.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're here. You're good.
Okay.
I got you back in.
I got a phone call and it kicked me off.
No, that happens. That's exactly what I thought it was.
Okay.
Dad, you want to go secondary? We're talking secondaries, Chiefs or 49ers?
I don't have a great breakdown. I like the safeties for the 49ers and the cornerbacks for the Chiefs. There's one good, San Fran has a good cornerback, right? Then maybe they'll match up with Rishi. I'm not sure how they're going to do that.
Ward. You're thinking of Travarius
Ward. But
the Chiefs have got Snead and McDuffie.
Overall, Kansas City, I would go with Kansas City on the defensive backs. On the whole back end.
So you going Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what everyone said as far as all the way down. Next up, special teams.
Oh, Bill.
Oh yeah, Bill. Sorry.
I'm agreeing with the Chiefs too. I like McDuffie. I think he's underrated. So I think Snead and that tandem is good. Yeah.
And I actually did hear you say that after I said it as well. I heard you.
Yep.
So
and you look at the fourth best pass defense in the league. The Chiefs and the 49ers are 14th. Ironically, though, and I didn't factor this in, I kind of forgot about this. The Chiefs are 18th in rush D. The 49ers are third.
Yeah,
interesting. I didn't know the Chiefs were that down on their run D. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
And the Chiefs rushing offense is only 19th. So that's interesting that San Fran's got that edge on both of those. That could be a huge factor here. So we're gonna find out.
Special teams.
Ooh. It's tough.
No, this is one of the better Super Bowls. Like, there's not really anything where you could sit there and be like, okay, this guy. Well, there are like position wise, but in the end, this is going to be a really good Super Bowl.
So you got Money Moody who missed that kick versus Butker. I gotta look up.
He's a rookie too. I kind of agree with what Joe's saying right here. Special teams KC because Buckner is money and Moody is a rookie. Kicking game could play a role in the outcome, and I do agree with that. Not only that, they're punters and everything like that. That's field position, and that'll be key too. So I'll just be short and sweet on this one too, and I'll say Chiefs.
I'll ditto that. I agree. I'll take a veteran over a rookie any day.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
I'm going to agree.
Same thing.
I'm going to agree on that one. And I think coaching, I'm going to be very much watching not just the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, but I'm going to be watching Shanahan, who's been in the Super Bowl, who I respect. But the Andy Reid-Spagnuolo tandem is, I think, going to be the difference in this game. And the 49ers are going to have to match them in adjustments and execution if they want to win this. And I'll keep it short and sweet, but I'm going Chiefs on that. And the 49ers are going to have to make that a tie or victory in their favor to actually pull the Super Bowl
out. Anyone else want to go before I do?
Go ahead.
Go.
All right. So
Ray Finkel.
Wow.
It's actually that was great.
It's actually ironic that you said that because really and truthfully, I look at Kyle Shanahan as potentially being the Dan Marino of coaches in the NFL, and the fact that he has not won one yet, and
that's how many years now, man?
Yeah, he's been there twice, but with the amount of talent that they have, and John Lynch is just an exceptional general manager over there.
Overcoming the Trey Lance trade to still be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's huge.
Pretty on that, but Andy Reid to me he's already one of the best coaches in the league in history. I'll just say that, and right now with Belichick gone, he's probably the best coach. And that's saying a lot with me because you know how much I don't really care for Belichick, but Andy Reid is the best coach in the league right now. And and
Spagnuolo might be one of the best coordinators in the league right now.
And Spagnuolo did a really good job up in Detroit when he was head coach up there. So eventually he will get another head coaching gig. It won't be this year. It might be next year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets taken in the next couple of years, probably after Andy Reid retires, or if Andy Reid retires and Spagnuolo takes over his job.
That's my theory. I think Spags is waiting to take that job. That's why he's not going anywhere, and he's got toys to play with all over on that defense, and they just keep getting better. Agreed. Just hope Andy Reid doesn't retire just yet. I agree with that. It'll be interesting to see if Shanahan gets over the hump. This is his third try. If he doesn't, it'll follow him the rest of his career. I think it already will. The question is, this is a good question by Chris. Good call. I heard you're going on his show, Med, which will be fun. I had a lot of fun on there. I'm going to give a shout out to Chris. Go check out his show, CBOTW. Will Andy Reid retire? We got to talk that in a minute. That's going to be interesting. What y'all think on the coaching thoughts here, guys? Bill, Dad?
And after we do coaching, we'll just say straight up, who do you think is going to win?
Bill, you're up.
I like Reid. Go ahead.
Boom.
I'm simple, man. I like Reid.
Boom.
Drop that mic.
Agreed. This is a huge one for me. I think it's like a 4-point swing.
I actually like Shanahan, but he has dropped the big ones. And Reid has been pretty much everywhere.
He went to Philly with McNabb. He almost got him there.
For Kansas City to have the game plan that they did against Baltimore is very impressive. So I'm definitely giving the edge here. And I think there's more pressure on Shanahan, right? Reid, not really the pressure, not as much pressure. So definitely going Kansas City on this.
It seems like he's got full control of that team. They play within themselves. Even when they were mad this year, they don't blow up and make stupid plays. Even though they were fighting with Tucker before the game, they play within themselves and they don't make dumb errors in these playoff games. And experience matters. Now the 49ers have been there. Can they play as composed as KC? It's going to be really important. Who do you guys picking? Let's go Med. Let's go Med, Bill, Dad, and then me. Let's go in that order. Med, who are you taking?
So I just counted up how we scored and everything. Well, me and Tom so far. I'm going to count you next, and then I'll count Bill. Steve was 6-6, so he was like, well, 3-3 really, but right down the middle. So, Steve, if you are able to actually hear us, please type up who you think is going to win.
Yeah, man, or send it to me on Twitter. Even I'll throw it in. Seriously, I don't know. I know you got kicked out. I don't see it. So
this game, in my opinion, is going to be kind of like what Joe said earlier. It's going to be who puts more pressure on who. And, right now I have rated 6-4 with Kansas City getting the favor. So I picked Kansas City 6 times in this thing that we did. I honestly think that that's going to happen, mainly because Mahomes he's just magical whenever the playoffs come. And their defense is severely underrated in my eyes. A lot of people there's so much focus on what's going on with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and that offense and, Arrowhead and everything like that. People forget how great that defense is. And so, the only knock on the defense is that they can't take away the ball. And
they can't stop the run either, apparently.
Yeah.
That could be the McCaffrey. It might need to be McCaffrey leading the way.
Yeah, and I could see that happening, but I'm going to still go with the Chiefs on this one, and a tight one.
What's your score?
We'll
do this again next week, but yeah.
I'm going to go 27-24.
That's my score. Taking the words out of my mouth. Bill, what you got?
Hey, I have to agree with you. I think I'm leaning the Niners, or not Niners, but the Chiefs. Sorry, the Chiefs. I think it'll be a tight one. Both good defenses, but slight edge to the Chiefs. Offensively, I gotta go, with the Chiefs there too. I'm thinking Chiefs 37-30.
High scoring, I like it. Dad, what you thinking?
First of all, Med, how did I score out in my positions?
You went 4. If you were to go with it, I'll just say you went with the 49ers 6-4.
Right. Okay, so I like the 49ers in this game. I do respect Kansas City's defense. I think that the Niners have enough weapons to attack that defense and get enough points on the board. I like the linebackers and the safeties covering Kelsey and at least slowing him down a little bit. I don't think Kansas City. I know that Mahomes can extend plays, so they have their original play, and then they have Mahomes extends plays with his legs and goes to what would be like an extended play. But I don't think the playmakers on that Kansas City offense are what they used to be. And there's a lot of question marks with those receivers, even with San Francisco's corners not being great or questionable at that. So the kicker, San Francisco kicker, the special teams could potentially cost this game. I don't see it being kind of a blowout. No, I mean a high scoring game. So I'm going to say that San Francisco is going to take the game, and I'll give a score of, I'd like to think about the score real quick. Yeah.
It's tough, isn't it?
We're going to go. Can you guys hear me okay?
Med got kicked out. He's audio only now. Weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
No, I'm here. I gotta do something real quick.
I'm going to do San Francisco 21, Kansas City 19.
Okay.
My
Lower
heart's
scoring.
telling me 49ers. My head is sort of saying Chiefs. I'm going to go heart. I'm going to go 49ers. I think Purdy's going to have to show up in the first half. I think that's going to be crucial. I want to say thanks to the 10 people watching with us. I think I'm like one or two of them, but to everyone watching. And Bill, I'll have to teach you how to stream your stuff and my dad, but no big deal. So we can get more people. But I want to say thanks everybody for watching for over 2 hours. We got one more thing after this.
Yep.
And then some plugs for some future stuff. But
you went with the 49ers, even though are you sure that you're a Packers fan? Because you went 7-3 with the Chiefs.
I went where?
You went 7-3 for the Chiefs.
For Chiefs.
In your position.
He's not a
Man,
Packers
it's hard.
He's a Chiefs fan.
I was going to say.
I really don't want the Chiefs to win this game. You know, the one thing that was interesting to me was the running game. There's a couple that I was like basically tied on, though. I'm going to shock you, even though I did that. And I think the Chiefs might have the more complete team, as good as their defense is. I do think that there's the element of Purdy taking off with his legs. There's the element of Mahomes doing that too. But I do think the Chiefs have struggled with weapons. And I was impressed with their ability to beat Baltimore. But I kind of think Baltimore's that defense just took Baltimore out of it. This 49ers offense is next level. I know the Ravens did that to them. I can see a lot of scenarios where the 49ers do lose this game, but I also could see McCaffrey being a huge difference maker and then falling behind early and catching momentum. And I don't think the Chiefs have the offense to get to 30. As good as their defense is, I don't think there's a scenario where they come out like Detroit, they throw haymakers early, and like San Fran proved in that Detroit game, they can swing momentum pretty fast. They didn't against Baltimore.
The next Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl? You think this could potentially be the next Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl? Where a lot of people really thought the Chiefs were going to kill the Bucks, and then the Bucks just straight out just destroyed them.
And what do you think the public's leaning on this one? Do you think the public's leaning KC heavy? Like, I'm going to look at this bet thing. Yeah, they are actually 64%. And this is just on Yahoo. So I'm sure there's a better betting site, and I don't gamble much. So 64% are saying Chiefs and 69% of money are saying Chiefs. And I think Purdy and Shanahan are going to really want to get this done. And I think McCaffrey is too. Even though I know I went positionally Chiefs, I was really torn on a couple. I'm going to go 49ers. And I'm actually going to say it's not going to be, I think it's going to be more than one score. I'm going to shock, even though I like the Chiefs D. I'm going to go, let me think on the score, 29-20. Chiefs. Or sorry, 49ers. I think they're winning by 9.
I just want to
And
point
I
out
was almost tied on 3 of those, so it was like really, really close. I'm going 49ers.
that I picked San Fran, but I only by 2, so they don't cover.
What's the line?
3, 2.5.
San Fran 2, right? Yeah. Right now.
Is it 2 now?
Yeah, San Fran by 2.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Well, we all gave our picks. Heck yeah. All right. Med's going to have a question too. Med, you want to do yours first, or you want me to do my athlete thing first? Ooh, wait, hold on. We got a new person. That's my sports podcast, which is on Twitter. I think they're watching on Shady's tweet or
I like the question.
Do the 49ers have the lights shut off in this Super Bowl? We didn't bring that up in Super Bowl memories, but that really swung. That swung that game. That was huge.
That was huge.
I want to see if Purdy can Hulk out for just long enough to win this game. While I love Mahomes, I don't think that the Chiefs' offense is capable of putting up 30 right now. I just don't see their offense on that level. So I think if it gets high scoring, it favors San Fran heavily.
I think it depends on when Purdy actually shows up. He can't
exactly. I'm scared about it. Yeah, like
so
they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna fall down 17 in this one and come back against that team. So it better be like 7-10.
Here's the thing, though. Pacheco, like Jones, ran all over the 49ers. Pacheco's going to have a big game, and then Mahomes won't have to put up as many points because they're going to control the clock with the run game.
And that run D for the 49ers is their strength. So if they can stop Pacheco, Bill, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Mahomes.
But that's the big if. Can they?
Can they do that? That they've done it all year, but the Lions came out on fire, so they can't let that happen again. Good point.
So,
I like it.
A lot of misdirection, right?
Yeah, this is. I think it's a really evenly matched game. Honestly,
it is.
I'm excited. Like I wish the Packers were in it or the Lions, but this is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. Hit him with your question, Isaac.
Okay, guys. So, and I'm going to give some of the fun takes that I had. So let me pull up the thing. Hold on. I had inspiration from Ben from Death Texans Sports, who sadly has not joined yet. He's been busy. And I think we're going to have him on in March. He's going to be on for the mock draft, Dad. So I'm pretty excited about that. The mock draft thing, I'm going to let Med tease that whole thing later. I know he's super excited. But I asked, who's the most dominant athlete of all time? And it's broken my record. It has over 13,000 views on Twitter from 8:30 this morning, which has broke my record. So I'm giving some people some shout outs. I'm going to say their people after we give ours. Who's the most dominant athlete of all time? Any sport, male or female, this should be fun. I think we should all go around and give our most dominant. And then if it wasn't a football player, let's give our offense and defensive NFL players after. So most dominant athlete of all time, sport or any sport. Who wants to start?
This is a tough one.
I'm going Michael Jordan. Simple.
Dude, that was mine. I was going to say Michael Jordan.
Take it, man. He just was. I like Shaq and dominance kind of speak hand in hand, and I know Jordan played in an era that was a little watered down, but to do what he did, yes, he had a supporting cast. It's Jordan.
When I watched him when I lived in Chicago, any sport.
Any sport. Bill lived in Chicago.
I would go to the Chicago Bulls games and just watch him. It was like, dude was magical. Just absolutely incredible. He was here too. So I would definitely say Jordan if I had to pick anyone right now. There's a lot of other players, but he just comes to mind. Air Jordan was the guy.
Gretzky was a popular one, Chris. I'm going to talk that later. There were some track people that came up. I had some awesome answers. I'm going to give handles and answers after we give our takes.
Can I just go real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say when you say dominant, most dominant.
I know. It's an interesting take. Like to me, it's like in golf, Tiger Woods' like stretch of dominance was the best to me, but the most decorated player is Nicklaus. So like it's your interpretation. So like if I'm saying golf, for me it'd be Tiger.
And
it's up to you.
Yeah. But I don't watch a lot of boxing, but wouldn't it be Floyd Mayweather? Wouldn't that be the guy because he's
defensively? But yeah, he nobody could hit him.
Lose.
No, he didn't. He didn't lose.
Doesn't that? and it's a sport,
Mhm.
right?
That's
So
a good answer.
over how many years did he do that? So
Heck, he's still boxing just exhibitions. Let me pull up Floyd
Yeah.
Mayweather. His
And
record,
the best guy to rip off an ear is Mike Tyson. So there you go.
Floyd Mayweather is 50-0. So nice answer, Dad. I hadn't even. You know what's funny is nobody said that because they hate Mayweather because he wasn't offensive.
yeah,
He didn't strike the
He's
other
not-
guy, but I
He's a
defensively,
counter
like what he did to Man Patrick.
he won
Yeah.
every match. So kind of give him credit for that.
Nice
Yep.
answer. Chavez Sr. went 80-09 before a loss.
Mhm.
Interesting answer.
Mhm.
Chavez Sr. No
Mhm.
one said that on Twitter, Joe. That's a good take. So, Dad, yours was Mayweather. That's a surprising take. I like it. Nice answer. And you're right. I mean, that's fair because Jordan, while he was 6-0 in the finals,
Mhm.
he lost several years before. So that's a good point. Matt?
Hard to really dominate in
Mhm.
some sports like that.
Like
I
Ali
went
was
with-
special, but it was a little stretch.
Mhm.
I went with Serena Williams.
That's what I was thinking.
Good
Indeed.
take.
Yeah, because I mean, shout out to the ladies out there, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Serena Williams for like I want to say for pretty much the whole early 2000s, the whole decade, it felt like she was pretty much winning Wimbledon. She was winning everything. It felt like the only competition she had was with her sister, and when they actually played together with doubles, they were undefeated like pretty much all the time. So I mean. I'm going with Serena Williams, and then she also married a billionaire, so she's living good. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
she's living great. And yeah, she's gonna be
she's
gonna be doing just
fine.
fine.
She's fine.
She's fine. All right, let's do you guys want to do just one NFL player? Or you guys want to do offensively and defensively? It's up to y'all. I don't care.
Up to you.
Go
Let's
both.
go offense.
Are you going offense only?
No, let's do offense, then we'll do defense. So your
Okay, go
your
for
most
offense.
dominant NFL offensive player of all time.
Wow.
That's a
Uh,
tough one. I got to go Brady, sadly, and I hate doing it, but I got to do it. He just was 7 rings.
Any
just was that.
position?
Yeah, I mean, if
Anything.
it's not him, Jerry Rice was the standard
That's what-
receiver and still is. And honestly, Barry or Sweetness at running back, there's a lot. Brown was pretty freaking dominant too.
Dude,
Um,
that's tough to pick just one. Good lordy. I mean,
I know.
wow.
It's tough. It's really hard. That's why I got to go Brady because 7 rings. But he did benefit from Belichick, and he played quarterback. It's just the most important position. So it's almost unfair to
Dang.
Barry or Walter. But they get honorable mentions. Joe goes Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I was thinking either Jerry or Walter. I mean, those two. Yeah. So I'll say Walter Payton.
Nice answer.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Really? Are you sure? I wasn't sure.
dude, they tore. He Sweetness tore the Packers up like you wouldn't believe, man. That was, as a Packer fan, I was just every time we played Chicago, I was like, oh great, here you go. Sweetness just melts the cheese all over again, you know.
That's
I love
kinda how
Walter.
I felt when I saw Aaron Rodgers. It's like, God, not Aaron Rodgers.
Dad, what you got?
I love Walter Payton, obviously, but on any one given play, I'd say Barry Sanders.
His
Yeah.
highlights are just stupid. It looks like he's playing a video game. It's just
Yep.
dumb. It's on another speed,
That wasn't
on
your
another agility level. It was just ridiculous. Boom, gone. The way he would outrun guys. I'm like, how fast was he running? Did he hit like 23 miles per hour on some of these runs? I know it was like 30 years ago, but it was stupid.
I do recommend watching, if you do have it. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but by Barry Bry, great documentary.
Seen it, yeah.
My player, I mean, Barry Sanders would be up there. Walter Payton would be up there. Jim Brown, of course, would be up there. I mean, we can go all like specialty players, but I'm going to keep it in the trenches.
Deserves a mention here.
I'm going to go Anthony Munoz, left tackle from Cincinnati that never allowed a single sack throughout his whole entire career.
Not a sack?
Dude,
No way.
that's amazing.
Nice.
Are you
Wow.
serious?
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
I know Jonathan Ogden was up there too. So,
Wow.
I remember him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns too.
Wow.
He was man of the year once.
Yeah.
11-time Pro Bowler.
You're
Wow.
welcome. Yeah. See,
That's
you got
stupid talented, man.
love because you win games in the trenches.
Kelsey says Kawhi Leonard, his championship with. She lives up in they live up in Canada, so that Toronto Raptors Super Finals was pretty special. So I get that.
Yeah, no, I looked up where her and Chris are and everything, so I know that they're in Toronto, Ontario. So
Yep.
I always research everything. So
Yeah, me too. The Munoz thing, man, that's a sweet answer. I like that. All right, defensively, this should be fun. Most dominant defensive player of all time, and then Med's got a question for y'all.
Okay. You want me to go first?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
go.
ahead.
Go.
Oh.
I missed Lawrence Taylor, so I mean he deserves to be up there, and he was.
Mhm.
My heart wants to say Charles Woodson, even though I know he's not, because I just loved the way he played with the Packers, and he tackled, and it was just a small stretch. He was great with the Raiders, but he was so dominant at the end of his prime with us. But when I think of the word dominance, I'm going to go with Joe here and go Reggie White. I just think of physical dominance, the minister of defense. And I know it's a homer pick with the Packers, but he was great with Philly too. I'm going to go Reggie White.
I love that pick, Reggie White. I'm going to go Bears, as much as a Packer fan, but I'm going to go Bears again. Mike Singletary.
Nice. Nice.
We have some good
it.
linebackers.
Yes, you did. Very good.
I like it.
I like it.
Dad, what you got? Most dominant defensive player of all time.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah.
Everybody, we all know what, you know.
Ray Lewis didn't get a mention here. I'm surprised.
Mm.
I'm going to go with the person that Ray Lewis respected the most and considered the greatest linebacker of all time, and that is Dick Butkus.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, of course, I'm way too young to actually watch him play, but one of the things I will say about myself is I'm not a person that just watches the game, I study it. And whenever I coach my players and everything like that, I tell them if they ever want to be great at whatever it is they're doing, they need to actually look back at the past greats, take something from them, and put it into your own repertoire. So Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers, I mean, that was pretty much the Bears back then. And, you know, sideline to sideline, you watch the highlights, you just watch game film on Dick Butkus. It's amazing. He was in pretty much every tackle.
I'm going to go check out some highlights after this because I got to do some scouting for my show tonight. I'm hopping on the American Football Network doing an audio only.
Nice.
We're going to do a Packers mock draft, which is going to be hard for me because I haven't done my scouting. So after this, instead of finishing Better Call Saul, I'm at the very end, sadly. I've got like an episode and a half left. I'm going to go do some scouting for my show tonight, and then I might do Frozen Tundra. The wife's out of town, so I'm keeping busy. So... Okay, I got to give some people's amazing answers because we had some good ones. So if you guys will bear with me, and then I'll try to make it quick. But they deserve some mentions. UFLA's Greg on Twitter, he said Tiger Woods and Mike Tyson for individual sports. Michael Jordan, Jerry Rice, and Wayne Gretzky got a lot of mentions, which he deserves. For team sports, and Barry Bonds for a best single season, even though it was steroid-induced for that 73 home runs. Somebody else said Jordan, Tiger, Serena, Larry Holmes, and Secretariat. Like that. Hadn't thought of I honestly hadn't thought of horses, so I like it.
I like that.
Wayne Gretzky. A lot of people said Michael Jordan. You guys are going to have to help me on this one. I don't know how to say this name. It's an Olympic person. Alexander Karelin, 13 straight years undefeated. Olympic wrestling, 3 straight gold medals. Russia. Okay, that's what I thought. Edwin Moses got a lot of mention. The track Paralympic Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Edwin Moses got more than one person saying that. That was awesome. Shaq got some mentions, which I get for dominance because that kind of goes hand in hand. Tiger got some. Mickey Mantle got some. Ronaldo got some mentions. Katie Ledecky got some mentions. Boxing, Mike Tyson came up, which I get when you think of dominance. Martina, I don't know how to say this one.
Navratilova.
Yeah.
Tennis.
Boom. Thank
Navratilova.
you.
Mhm.
She was awesome too.
Babe
Chris
Ruth
Everett.
got some mentions. Michael Jordan got some mentions. Someone said I liked this one. Somebody said Joey Chestnut, the hot dog champion. And you know what?
Is he dominant?
How many
Wow.
won in a row?
I think it's like 13. It's up
It's
there.
stupid.
It's a
It's up there with that
mid-teens, maybe
wrestler.
high.
Yeah, it's stupid up there. Brady
Wow.
got some mentions, not as many as I thought he would. Jim Thorpe got some mentions. Michael Phelps, which he deserves. Serena got a lot of love. I've got a lot of comments. This has been fun. Michael Spitz, Jack Nicholas, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. That's a good one, Jack Ham. Dit Butkus. I wanted to say his name and I didn't. Ray Nitschke. I like it. Lynn
Great.
Swan, John Stallworth. A lot of good mentions. Bo Jackson, which is a really good one. Like Dion, who played two sports. That's I like that. And then using Mr. Bolt, he came up, which I like a lot. So yeah.
So one thing to actually touch up on, and I had just to let people know, I actually do have season hockey tickets down here in Savannah. We have ice hockey here in the South now. And Wayne Gretzky, the reason why a lot of people talk about him is he had a 200-point season. Like, that's incredible. If you really knew how they actually score points and everything. That's how they do the systems goals. And when you look at that, no one has even come close to that since. And that was back in 1982. So we're talking 41 years.
Yeah, because what? It's 2 points per goal, right?
No, it's one.
One.
Oh, it's only one?
Yeah.
And 1 point per
200
assist.
goals in a season.
So that's like 100 goals with 100 assists. That's just nuts.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I knew he had a high number. I used to wiki and look all this stuff up. Like I've looked up stuff on Michael Jordan, like left and right, because he just was stupid. And I'm surprised LeBron didn't pop up, but it's because there's a clear distance there, unfortunately for him, between him and Jordan. And then honestly, you could talk Kareem or Wilt. Wilt Chamberlain popped up too. For dominance, I mean, that kind of 50, like even in that era, 50 point per game average in a season is stupid. Not just the 100-point game, 50 in a season.
Yeah.
I think with like 26 rebounds a game. And I know he stood way taller than anybody, but even just to have the endurance to do that is ridiculous. So a lot of fun answers. It's my biggest tweet on Twitter. It's over 13,000 hits right now. And I got like 50 comments already. So it was pretty fun.
So
I got that inspiration from Ben Holloway. He gave me the inspiration for it. So
just one other little thing. The only other player that has come close to sniffing 200 points was Mario Lemieux.
Okay.
98, and he had 199. So I thought it was a lot bigger gap than that, but evidently I was wrong.
Hey, Med, before you do your question, can you do me a quick favor? Can you
What you got?
explain, while we got him on, can you explain to my dad what you're envisioning for the mock draft really quick and tease it?
All right. So basically with the mock draft and everything, we've been trying to plug it whenever we get a chance to, because we want to get as many people. Sorry about my squeaky chair, by the way. With the mock draft that's going on, we will be doing probably a 2 to 3 round draft. Isaac was talking about 7 round. I was like, that's a bit much, but what's going to happen is we got 8 podcasters. We got myself, Isaac, my co-host, Seth. We got Joe. We got you. We got Ben from Death, Taxes, and Sports. We got that mock draft guy. Still don't know his name yet. And we also have Pete Collins from Foxborough Fellows. And what's going to happen is right now we are all set up with one team each. We picked one team who we will represent, and I wanted everyone to get their own team at least. And I know that you went with the Cardinals, so
Yeah.
you know I like that. But it's going to be set up sometime early April. We will be doing a random wheel for the rest of the teams that will be given to each person. We each do 4 teams, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really interesting take. The mock draft guy will probably mop the floor with all of us, but you know, that's what he does. He's the expert in that. And we're trying to get him on to talk with us and everything. But so far our schedules just don't line up, but yeah, we're going to be doing that. And also he Isaac mentioned the all-time fantasy football draft. This is going to be something from 1980 to about 3 years ago. So they have to be retired. There will be a couple leads to a wild card pick.
Tom Brady's on there. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Tom Brady will be on it. So will be Joe Montana. So will John Elway, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton.
Tomlinson.
Jim,
like it.
well, not Jim Brown, but
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre will be there.
Barbara.
We will be doing that, and we'll probably put, I believe it was like 10 people. That's what we talked about. So we'll be doing that as well.
Dad, I'm sorry I can't get 12. I wish StreamYard would open that up. That'd be cool. I've always liked 12-man leagues better, but hopefully that'll be the start of a fantasy league. So I think it'll be fun. And then for the fantasy one afterwards.
That's just
I'm hoping to get the same 10 for both.
And then you're thinking about a dynasty. So in early April, Mad, we'll do this mock. Probably 2 rounds? The first 2 rounds? 2,
possibly 3.
Are you going to limit it the time, whoever's on the clock?
Yes. It's going to be about a minute. I was about to say an hour and 30 minutes, but it's going to be a minute and 30 seconds per pick. So basically you'll pick whoever you get, and you can discuss why you think that team will get that pick. And I want everyone to be 100% honest with themselves when they actually do this. So if you're, say, Joe, the Raiders fan, and you get the Chiefs as one you random to, don't screw them up.
No.
Pick them as if it's your job.
Do you want to do it all you wanted to do all in one sitting, right? Once round and 2 together, not separated?
If we end up, we could do some live if you want. I mean, you're asking people to sit there. Well,
I know.
If we do a minute and 30 seconds on each pick, it ain't that bad. It'll be about as short as it is as we spent on this podcast today.
About 48 minutes tops for a round, so it's not too bad.
Yeah,
actually.
So basically it'll be about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, for 3 rounds.
If we have anyone else out there, thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, we got 6 still. We had 11 a minute ago, so that's pretty cool.
So,
Dad had a cool idea for scoring it that we'll pitch with you, Med. He had a system he used to do when we did it with scoring that he thought was kind of cool. Like if you get the position right, you get so many points. If you get the exact player, you get so many points.
That would have to be something we could just grade it. We could grade it on based upon what the teams pick. Once the draft is done, once the real draft is done.
Yeah,
it's up to you guys if you want to do that live. I think we could, but it's up to you guys.
That's something you can just add in the podcast later on.
And we could talk about that. I'm always open for talking to anybody about anything. I mean, I'm trying to get on other shows as well as bringing people over to my show, not just Blitz, but also Shots from the Sidelines. And one of the things we can actually do now, Izac does know about this because I told him, is me and my friends down here actually do gamble on the draft. And what we do is we do the first 10 picks. We'll put each $20 on the table. And your boy was the winner last year. So
wow, nice.
Look, I see Bill's like.
So how do you win?
All right.
What did I win? I won $120 in free drinks. So
no, but I mean, the first 10 picks, you got whoever gets the most right.
Yeah, who picked the right player?
Cool.
Man, that was fun. I almost want to do a live stream during the draft.
I saw Bill licking his lips as soon as I said that too. Like, yeah, we threw $20.
Bill was like, "Wait, what? Huh? Who? Where?"
Hey,
you're speaking to Bill right now. I know you are.
Hey, man, we'll talk further on that one. I want you also to get our feedback for next year when we do a pick where we have to just pick straight up winners for a pool that I'm in too. So I want your help with that.
I think we'll have Med on an episode of Fun Football for sure.
Okay.
I know that we talked about bringing Seth on it too. I just got to line it up with Seth.
Okay.
Also, really quick, Dad, I didn't tell you about this yet. I'm organizing a March Madness pool through Twitter. Everybody here is in if you want in. I don't know how much we're going to do. It won't be expensive, $10 or $20. But I've already got, the 3 of us are in and I've already got, I think it's about 10 now. I'm going to try to get to maybe 20 people, 25 tops. So
that's always fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So, because I'm going to take a few weeks off and then come back for free agency and all that stuff. Cool. Yeah. So I figured you'd want in.
Yeah.
All right, Med's got a question for y'all. He's been holding it for 2.5 hours. So
Okay.
So because it's been 2.5 hours and I want to take a nap before I go to my hockey game.
So Casey selects a kicker.
Oh, gee.
if okay, Joe, if it actually scrolls onto your name and it comes your time to pick and it hits Casey, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're re-spinning again for Joe.
Wow.
That was good. I like it. That was funny.
Originally, I was thinking about saying, hey, what is your top 5 all-time receivers in NFL history?
I was hoping to do lists of running backs and receivers in the offseason.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll just make it a little bit shorter for you. Where would you rate Larry Fitzgerald in your top 10, despite the fact that he had horrible quarterback play other than Kurt Warner?
That's rough.
Yeah. This is up there with Belichick writing Brady's coattails comment that
Well, it's just hard. How do you evaluate Fitzgerald? Like, where does he
check out stat? He is like number 2, top 2 and 3 in a lot of stat categories.
That's a good question, man.
Yeah, Janae just hit it.
I'm looking at a top 10 list. Jerry Rice has got to be the standard. Joe's got a good list. Megatron, Randy Moss, T.O., Tim Brown. I'm not sure if Tim Brown gets quite that high for me.
No,
this is interesting. Yeah, no, I knew he was going to say that. I was waiting for it.
I think Fitzgerald should be definitely in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, he's in the top 10. Well, should we just make a list? Should we do it? Because I almost need to make a list just to figure out where he falls.
There's been a lot of great receivers.
And
honestly, to accurately do this, I almost have to make a list. We've been on here for 2.5 hours. If you guys want,
I got to make a list too. I mean, and you got to look at the time periods too. The quarterback play is much more elevated, and the game has changed too. So that's got to be taken into a factor as well, I would think.
I know, Joe. I'm just messing with you.
Brown is, I know. Joe. Tim Brown is. I'm on this list on Athlon Sports, and they've got Tim Brown at. Let me see where he's at. He didn't make top 10. Hold on.
Lynn Swan.
He was
hard because he was 16th on this list. It's also tough because you got guys like Sterling Sharp who were special, or Michael Irvin whose careers were cut short. So it's like it gets really tricky because are you just looking at stats? Because if you are, Fitzgerald's definitely top 10 anyways.
Well, you can't just look at his stats with Fitzgerald. You got to factor in the fact that he had people like Cobb and Leinart and all these other scrub quarterbacks throwing it to him.
And that's interesting because you got like guys like Steve Largent on this list who is awesome, and he had 100 touchdowns, and people don't think of him. Or you've got Calvin Johnson, who never really did anything in the playoffs, even though he had Stafford, but he was definitely one of the most talented receivers of all time. Fitzgerald definitely cracks top 10, but then you got guys on a list like this, like Don Hudson, who I love, who are so far back. Fitzgerald would probably fall in the like 7 to 10 range for me.
And then
Sterling Sharp.
You have to have Marvin Harrison in this list somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Marvin Harrison.
His son coming in the draft.
Oh, I know, right? Isn't that cool? I'm gonna go, and I'm probably leaving some historic guys out. I'm gonna go Jerry Rice first. Who'd you guys all have first?
Well,
it's definitely Jerry.
Ned's question was, where do you put Fitzgerald?
I'm gonna put Fitzgerald like somewhere in the 7 to 10. He's great. One of the all-time greats.
The fact
Not
that
top 5 for me
means he's pretty freaking great.
Yeah, top 10 means he's amazing. He's one of the best ever. Top 5, not quite.
I think he would have. And just quick note on this with Larry Fitzgerald: if he actually had consistent quarterback play and not just Kurt Warner for 3 years, he would probably be the best of all time. Larry Fitzgerald.
I loved him. I think while he had great quickness, he lacked that top end speed that some of these other guys had that I think would have kept him just slightly a notch below that.
Always take.
You should watch the highlights of the Super Bowl where he ran away from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Ran away.
Yeah, he was only like that's true. Yeah.
So if you
was a really good play. I remember the play exactly you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nelson,
I'm behind
Hopkins, Randy Moss. Some good names. Jordy Nelson was fun.
I see a lot of Packers on there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Packers.
Yeah.
2 Packers. Ronald Curry made the greatest catch.
Rice
I mean, yeah, you guys got like Lynn Swan. Are we thinking of Pritt Collinsworth was awesome?
Ooh.
But like,
Here's a hot take. I think
Chris
that
Carter.
John Stallworth was a better receiver than Lynn Swan.
Ooh, that's a good take. You got guys like Art Monk who got to get thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Allworth, he was awesome. You got a lot of old names on this list I'm looking at right now, but
Oh, dude,
Michael Irvin to me though has.
Guy.
I think Michael. Here's the thing, Aikman wasn't really like he played good in the playoffs, but he had. I mean, if you look at his stats, they're not that special. Michael Irvin to me was a little more dominant than Fitzgerald for me personally. Think about the area he was in. Like Fitzgerald, they were starting to open up the passing game after the 90s. Michael Irvin, and I watched him just kill the Packers over and over.
I like Michael Irvin.
I think he cracks my top 10. They're probably both right in that range, but Michael Irvin, when I think of just straight dominance at receiver,
but
after Moss and Kelvin Johnson, he's
right.
We can't include any receivers that are still playing, right?
Yeah, if you want to, why not? Because I know some people talk about Tyreek Hill, and of course, Janae said Devontae Adams.
Mike Beebe.
Ooh,
Tyreek Hill. I mean, Antonio Brown, if he hadn't screwed his career up, would probably come up on more of these lists. You know that.
Fitzgerald is definitely pretty far up the list, though. Man, he's definitely far up the list. T.O. Terrell Owens?
Terrell Owens is my second.
Yep.
T.O.'s second for me. And then I've got Moss.
Moss had a special skill set.
And then I've got Johnson.
So I like.
And then I think I've got Irvin. And then I'm going to go Fitzgerald 6, I think. All time.
Do you guys have Moss way up there?
I've got Rice, T.O., Moss, Kelvin Johnson, Irvin, and then Fitz. That's my list. So he made 6. There you go. I mean, that's amazing.
I think I'm putting him ahead of Megatron.
Wait, which way? You had Megatron ahead of Moss?
No. I think I'm putting Fitzgerald ahead of Megatron.
Oh, I like it. See, I might look more at their stats and evaluate that. And we should like make this list like we did quarterbacks. I want to do it at running back too. We'll do like a full episode on it.
When you look at it, he's pretty high, actually.
Yeah. Matt, we've broken a record for keeping people on an episode and our length at 2 hours and 40 minutes. Let's crack 3 hours. Let's do it.
Wait, Matt, where do you have him on your list?
With Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
I would actually put him in my top 5 probably. And it's mostly because of the fact I also factor in the what he did with, like I've said a couple times, the quarterback play. I got to look at his stats, but I mean, I remember him as a player, and every year that he played, other than like the last one, he had 1,000 yards. I mean, when I think he played 1 year with Kyrie Murray too. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and to kind of cut back on what you were talking about a second ago, Isaac, with Antonio Brown, I think he screwed himself. He's going to probably get the T.O. treatment where he's going to have to wait a little bit because of what his antics were and the way that he screwed with the media like T.O. did. And that's going to be
his head just got, after that hit, he didn't look the same. I guess that Cincinnati hit, the dude never acted right after that.
Mm-hmm. When Burfict
I think there's some head trauma that really screwed him up.
Definitely. I mean, I deal with CTE from games that I played 20 years ago. So, it's just unfortunate. He was a great.
Thanks, Chris.
I love Antonio. Thanks, Chris. But yeah, no, I would if I was to actually just coming off the top of my head, thinking of players, I would actually have Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens. I would go probably Calvin Johnson, Sterling Sharp. Because he would have been
was coming up on me too. He just didn't play long enough. I'll have Sharp probably at 7.
So don't forget about Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, he's a great player, but he was to me a one-trick pony. He was just basically the person they will always send on the fade route to basically take the top off the defense. And he even said that's my job. I take the top off the defense. Yep. But like you said, when he actually would take a hook and turn it into a 69-yard touchdown. I mean, it's special. I mean, and like you said earlier, I mean, there's just so many players that you can't. It's hard to really make 10.
Oh, yeah. This receiver list is actually harder than quarterbacks for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The quarterback.
It really is. I think when we get to running backs, I think that's going to be easier than this too, actually.
Well, I already know the top 3 with running backs, but that's for another show.
Teasing it for later. Mendo's is so I love this because I'm working with someone that he hasn't done radio, but he's great at it. And then Bill's done it, and then my dad has done fantasy longer than me, so it's fun to have this collection. This is cool. I wish I want to say thanks to Steve for hopping on. I'm not sure what happened, but thank you for hopping on with us and having me on your show. That was really cool. And Janae hopping on the last one. So I got to say those shout outs before we head out here in a minute. Yep. And for Bill for hopping on when the Blitz hits the fan, man.
Thanks, guys.
Closing the curtain.
And Bill, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if you wanted to do the mock draft thing because I know you want to take a break. So if you want in, we'll go up to 10. So just let us know.
All right, I'll think about it. I'll see when are you guys doing it?
It depends if we do 1 or 2, and it'll be early mid-April, right before the draft.
All right, I'll
We're gonna make
try
dates.
Okay, yeah, just give me the dates.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Hit the comment one more time. There you go.
Isaac Bruce is pretty good. You're welcome. Prayers to you.
Yeah, I watched Isaac Bruce go in the Hall of Fame. He was in the same class as
Isaac Bruce was special. Yeah. You got some great ones. Chris Carter deserves an honorable mention here for top 10. I got some other ones. Tim Brown does too, man. He was special. Andre Reed deserves a mention. I like Tynes Ward. He was a fun receiver. He was. Anquan Bolden deserves some recognition for what he did with Baltimore and the Cardinals. He was like Fitz, not the fastest guy in the world. I know Fitz pulled away in that game, but he did have 4.3 speed. It was more like 4.48, I think. Honestly, I think that actually might have been his 40. But you got guys like Bolden, who just had that dominant run and helped the Ravens get that second ring. That was pretty cool. And he almost got one with the Cardinals.
And I know you guys, a lot of times we look at stats, and those are obviously important because, they set one person apart. But, another name comes to mind. Of course, I'm, kind of biased with being a Packer fan, but James Lofton. He didn't throw up great numbers, but as an impact player back in the 80s for the Packers, I mean, you got to look at that too, Yep.
And then they got way back.
And the Magic Man, Majowski.
And exactly, the Magic Man. You got it.
This Steve Largent for Seattle.
Steve
Largent, yeah. That one was one that popped up really high on this list I'm looking at. Andre Johnson for the Texans popped up. He was a fun player. What about Reggie Wayne for the Colts as well?
Reggie Wayne,
Mr. Steve Smith for the Panthers.
Steve Smith, yes.
There are 5 people that are finalists right now that are receivers, I think, or at least 5 people I could think of that should be in the Hall of Fame right now. And Steve Smith is one of them.
Yes.
Absolutely. Current players, I think, that have a chance to make the top 10 are Tyreek Hill. I think if Justin Jefferson can stay healthy, he might have a shot someday soon.
Yep.
He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to bulk up a little, but he's a heck of a player. So I think he has a shot. But Tyreek Hill is the one that really stands out. I'm curious what's going to happen with A.J. Brown. I really like him at receiver, too. He's special.
You have to consider.
Sadly, Cooper Kupp hasn't played long enough, so I don't know if that's going to happen for him. He had a pretty dominant little stretch, though, but I'm not sure. You guys have anybody else in the NFL right now you think that can crack it?
Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase is special. That's why I said you don't trade him. You just don't. And Devontae Adams, actually, I think if he keeps going for a couple more years.
And we have to talk about the rookie for the Rams because he set all the records.
I know, Nakua.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Stafford? Oh man, next year the Rams, they could be tough.
Yeah.
They did lose Morris though, but they could be tough. What about dang it, there's another guy.
Isaac, like in fantasy, I drafted almost all rookies, or I can't remember.
Yeah, you like drafting rookies left and right. Oh, sorry. Now, I hate the way he played in the playoff game, but Lamb, the way he excelled this year, could get there.
Yep.
Clearly, yeah.
All right. Med, do you have any other questions?
No, that's pretty much it.
Guys, I hope we can do this panel again. I like this. And Steve, I hope we can get him back on. But this was a fun 4. I think we're going to do another. I know we did a full breakdown. Possibly, I think I'd like to do another Super Bowl preview. I think we're going to be back Tuesday. I'm going to do. I'm going to tease this right now. I'm going to try to find an NBA dude. I'm going to try to do an NBA trade deadline special on Fun Football Pod this week while the wife's out of town, because they stupidly put it on Thursday. So my grievance I'm going to file right now is with the NBA for being dumb and doing this on Super Bowl week. You should have done it the week after, Adam Silver. I'm not a fan of you. That's one of my favorite things of the year. And why would you put that on Super Bowl week? Man, you run from the NFL every chance you get. Run again. Come on. Run away. So I got to talk that trade deadline because I'm a huge Lakers fan. And the Mavs, I think they're going to make the teams, even if they don't make moves, I got to talk it. So, and then I'll be doing a hiatus for a couple weeks after that. So, yeah, after the Super Bowl.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate
Dad, thank you for joining for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Bill, thanks for hopping on. Med, you guys can catch us back on Tuesday with when the Blitz hits the fan. I will be back with probably 2 episodes this week of Fun Football Pod. Me and Bill, I think, will be doing ours on Friday. I might have like I said, I might try to do an NBA special as well. I will be on American Football Network tonight. And then, Med, are you hopping on tomorrow too for that Super Bowl preview?
I can try.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm going to try too. It's a lot of podcasts this weekend. So
on what? Who? You?
I thought it was in a message with you in that March Madness. I can't remember. We'll talk about it after.
I'll look at it, but my show, Shots from the Sideline, besides our love child that we have here at Blitz, will be actually on. It's actually right before Blitz, so you'll catch me Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time
with audio.
This time I'll have audio. So,
I felt so bad. I could tell you were mad. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, dude, I remember looking at you, and my eyes were like this big. Like, ooh, we did a whole episode, hour and 30 minutes. Usually, mine runs about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. Me and Seth. I mean, the episode was epic. We did State with the Franchise, which we break down each franchise and what they should look to do and coming up in the next year. And we went through all that. We did NBA talk and everything like that. And at the end, he read a message from his wife who was watching the episode, and she said, "I couldn't hear you the whole time." And I was like, "What?" And so I looked at it and I accidentally muted the whole episode. So if you're good at lip reading, it's a great episode. So
my wife will do wonderful with that one. I'm so sorry, dude.
Wow.
I remember popping in for a second, but I didn't turn my phone volume up, and I was helping my wife learn Call of Duty. So I'm sorry, I wasn't able to help. I got distracted. I was going to say something. I was like, I can't hear them, but I wasn't. I'm sorry, dude.
One day when I have like 10 viewers, for an episode, this would be something I look at and say, remember when I only had 2? So it's all good though. We'll figure it out. Catching you. I'm up to 57 followers now. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
all right. Well, hey, thank you to Shady Sports Network for having our shows. If anybody else, I haven't been saying this on the show, if anybody else wants to join the Podcast Boys Network, we'd love to add some other shows. It can even be like, I would love to get sports related, but movie one maybe. We'd like to just really like have a variety. There was a really cool show I was on called the Fantasy Sports Game Show, which was so much fun. I want to do it again. That was something like that would be cool. We'd like to have a variety of shows on the network, like Shady does. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So if you're interested in joining, it's free, and we're just gonna try to grow everyone's shows. But thank you to Shady for giving us the opportunity to do that. Thank you to Bill for hopping on short notice, and my dad for doing a 3-hour show. And man, I had a lot of fun. You had a lot of good takes. And Med, thanks for doing our Love Child show with me.
The Love Child show.
You're thinking about starting a House Divided show. Janae, send me a message. Let me know what that is, okay? Like your more
Yeah.
thoughts. I like it.
Yeah.
But
fact, if you
guys, sorry, go.
real quick, Janae, if you are on Twitter, just if you want, just give me in that little talk to, and we'll see what we can do for you.
She's on Facebook. I don't know if she's on Twitter, but she does have Facebook, so I'll tell her to message you too on there. So
Okay, cool.
but all right, guys. Well, we'll be back with
All right.
more stuff this week. I'll be on tonight. I might be on Frozen Tundra too. Bill, I messaged the buddy. He has plenty of squares, so I'll get your info in a little bit. Okay.
Sounds good. All right, buddy.
Med,
You guys
was this
take care,
episode
Med.
5 or 6?
This was 5.
Guys,
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
5 of the When the
Woo.
Blitz Hits the Fan. People watched for almost 3 hours. Look at that. Thank you, people. We appreciate it. That's dedication. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or boredom. One of the two.
Well, you guys take care, gentlemen. Good
right.
chit
See you,
chat with you
Bill.
guys. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.
Bye bye.